It's a beautiful night for baseball, and live from the Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Cincinnati Reds in the first of a 4-game series. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Oral Hershiser, and Nomar Garciaparra. Dodgers take 2 of 3 in Colorado. They bring into Cincinnati the best road record in the National League at 20-11, tied with the Giants. That's the good news. The bad news is Dodgers 9.5 games behind San Francisco. They have to start making some hay tonight against a tough left-hander in Tony Cingrani, but the Dodgers have made some alterations in their lineup, especially because they struggle so much against lefties.
Yeah, with a left-hander on the mound and Adrian Gonzalez in a slump, Jamie Romack is going to get the start at first base. Got his first big league hit yesterday against Matt Belle-Isle, a double. Not only was it his first big league hit, now he's 1 for 7, but he got 2 RBIs, ended up scoring a run because Miguel Rojas got his first big league hit right after this. But with the Dodger lineup, there's kind of a domino effect right now with a left-hander on the mound and a few guys struggling.
And one of those dominoes who's turned things around the past couple of days is Matt Kemp.
Yeah, he'll be hitting in the 4-hole. He had a tremendous series against the Rockies. He went 5 for 9 with a pair of triples and 3 RBIs. One thing I've really been impressed about Matt Kemp, not just at the plate, but also what he's doing on the field. Out there in left field, he's looking to be more and more comfortable. And I'll tell you, his last 2 games, he has really played like the Matt Kemp we have custom to seen, hustling around those bases, hitting the ball well, and let's hope that carries over into this series.
3 of those 5 hits over the weekend against left-handed pitching. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, Alana Rizzo will join us, and then the first pitch. Dodgers and Reds are coming up.
Way into Great American Ballpark in what is turning out to be a very nice evening for baseball. Game 1 between the Reds and the Dodgers. Game 1 of a 4-game set. Welcome inside Great American Ballpark, everybody. I'm Alana Rizzo. Great American Ballpark certainly is known as a hitter-friendly park, and the success of the Dodgers is certainly no exception, specifically in the case of 4 different Los Angeles Dodgers when you're talking about Adrian Gonzalez, Matt Kemp, Andre Ethier, and Hanley Ramirez. They have all hit the ball well here in Cincy. Collectively, collectively 27 home runs. They've driven in 79 runs. They have a collective average of 302. Now with the left-hander Tony Cingrani on the hill, Adrian Gonzalez, who is in a bit of a slump, will not get the start tonight. Andre Ethier, dealing with a bit of an intermittent back issue, also a left-hander, will not be in the starting lineup. But Matt Kemp and Hanley Ramirez certainly have had success at this park before. Some of the Reds' greats around the ballparks, just one of the many things you can see here at Great American Ballpark. After the break, Charlie Steiner, Oral Hershiser, and Nomar Garcia-Parra on the call.
The first of this four-game series since 2003, the Dodgers have enjoyed their time here at the Great American Ballpark, winning 22 of the 38 games. And here's the lineup that Don Mattingly's put together tonight for the first of the four. Figgins leading off at second base. Ramirez and Puig. Matt Kemp had a terrific weekend in Denver. Van Slyke in center field. Ethier's back is still barking. There's also a lefty on the hill. Turner, Romack starting at first base. Tim Fedorovich behind the plate. Dan Herron pitching and batting ninth. And they're going to be facing 24-year-old left-hander Tony Cingrani, making his 11th start of the year.
Well, he stands at 6'4", very athletic pitcher. And as you know, Oral, I don't say that too often about pitchers, but Cingrani will go after, challenge you. He likes to get you with that high fastball, get you chasing and swinging at that, which goes about a mid-90s. Also has a slider and changeup mixed in there as well.
Cingrani is one of those guys. All right, let's take a look at the numbers. What does it all mean? 2-6 in ERA of over 4. He's not allowed more than 4 runs in any of his 28 big league starts, but he is 0-4 with an ERA of over 5 in his last 4 starts. So those are the numbers going in, and we'll find out how this all plays itself out. He's also probably the 5th man in the rotation. Matt Latos is soon to come off the disabled list, so on this night, Cingrani could well be singing for his supper. First pitch is a call strike to Sean Figgins, and it's 0-1. Figgins at .255 with a .397 on base percentage. We were talking about it over the weekend. Over the past week to 10 days, Figgins has hit the ball much more solidly than he has at any point in the season.
I was talking to him down in the locker room before batting practice, and he said, you know, he's always been a slow starter, but as he's gotten to the end of his career and you have to earn your job, it's a lot harder. But the Dodgers have been somebody that has really appreciated the fact that he can work the count, appreciated that his on-base percentage is high even though his average was low, and they've had time and given him time to really get into the part of the season where he feels like he can get hot.
13 hits, 11 walks, a .397 on base percentage, and he's down on strikes. Cingrani has struck out 53 in 55 innings. Playing defense behind him tonight, Todd Frazier, outstanding third baseman, and Zach Cozart is the shortstop. Brandon Phillips, as good a defender at second base as anybody in the game, and Donald Lutz is at first base. Ludwig, the speedster, Hamilton in center, Jay Bruce in right, and Brian Pena is the catcher. Now here comes Hanley Ramirez, who had himself quite a day yesterday. 472 feet worth of home run. That was the fourth longest home run of the year. Giancarlo Stanton, by the way, 484 feet. This was just a mere bag of shells, 472.
And you know, you can say all you want, well, it was in Colorado, that's why it traveled so far, the thin air. It didn't matter what ballpark he was going to be in, it went a long way.
For Ramirez, that was his 10th home run of the year, and he bloops one into right field for a base hit. So Hanley Ramirez beginning to warm up. Ramirez warming up. Kemp had a good weekend. Puig off the shelf. His hip is feeling better. Matt Kemp coming up after Puig. Dodgers, when they score first this year, are 25-10. Whether by hit by pitch, even an error, Puig has been on base every game for more than a month. His .335 average, second best in the league. His 40 RBIs, sixth best. And his on base percentage of .430 is second best. So Puig had the hip issue. He's back tonight. And it looks as if D. Gordon could be able to go again tomorrow.
You know, we have Hanley over that first. Speaking of D. Gordon, Dodgers have stolen a lot of bases. We know that, leading the major leagues in that category, but very difficult to steal off a lefty in Cingrani. Last year he had 6 pickoffs all of last season. So far this season he's had 2.
It was a very short leg kick. It's really then hard to go on him for first move. So now you've got to read that short leg kick, get a good jump, but he has an outstanding move that looks a lot like when he goes home.
Ramirez has stolen 8 of 10. Good toss to first. Brian Pena, by the way, the catcher, has stole, or rather thrown out 4 of 12 would-be base stealers, so it's going to be a difficult task tonight. As Nomar mentioned, the Dodgers lead Major League Baseball with 74 stolen bases. Next to the Reds, 24 behind. 0-2. Great American Ballpark came into existence in 2003, and hitters can't wait to come here, especially in the summer when it's humid and the wind is blowing out.
You'll hear baseball players who come in, you're like, gosh, it's so hot here, and they'll say, yeah, it's hot, but that doesn't matter because the ball's going to fly.
And sarcastically around the league, it's called the Great American Small Park.
I don't know what you're talking about. Never heard that.
Well, that's pitchers talking.
I don't think it's the least bit sarcastic. And we just came from Colorado. But ironically, the Reds are struggling offensively this year. The Dodgers, who play in the Western Division at Dodger Stadium, where it's hard to hit them out, the Dodgers have 60 home runs this season. The Reds, who play at this little bandbox, have hit but 52. Ryan Price conveniently standing behind the railing. There goes Hanley, and a foul off to the right and out of play.
Hanley going on first move, got an excellent jump over there at first base. You know, oftentimes when you have your pitcher, Cingrani, the pitch before, he gave him a really good move, pickoff move over there. And he said, okay, I'm going to go first move, not thinking that it's almost like a guess, saying he's not going to give it to me back to back.
Outfield straight away for Puig. There he goes again. Ground ball in the hole, into left field for a base hit. And Ramirez, because he's often running with the pitch, goes to third base, and the Dodgers have runners at the corners and one man out.
Well, once again, Ramirez getting a good jump. Now look at his head. See if he peeks in on this ground ball. He sees it. He's able to notice that the ball was hit, but also notice where it was hit, so he can go all the way to third base on that base hit.
So the Dodgers are in business. Matt Kemp is coming up, and Puig continues his great offense. Matt Kemp had a terrific weekend. With 5 base hits, takes a strike, nothing in 1, and 3 of the 5 against left-handed pitching. Collectively this year, the Dodgers would rather go to the dentist than face left-handed pitching. Hitting a major league low 208 against southpaws. But they've got Cingrani on the ropes in the first. Van Slyke is on deck. And Kemp coming off the big weekend in Colorado with a chance to give the Dodgers the early lead. What is it about Cingrani's move, Nomar, that makes it so difficult?
Well, I'll tell you. Well, one, it's just a lefty, but see how he's going. See where he steps. It almost looked like he's going home, and he's on that gray area where it's almost a balk, as almost it's a step home when to throw over. But at the same time, from the angle we're up here, I can actually tell when he's going. That's why he gets away with it. His whole body actually goes toward first more when he throws over, and when he comes home, it stays more in line with home plate. And as an umpire, since he notices that here, he's thinking it's a different look, so he's not trying to deceive you, even if he's stepping a little bit more toward home as compared to first base. And it looked like Ramirez might have picked something up a little bit, because Hanley's got 2 good jumps off him when he was at first base.
First base umpire Jim Reynolds is the crew chief, so he'll be keeping a close eye on Tony Cingrani.
And like I said, but that lean's easier for us up here than it is when you're standing at first base.
1 and 2. So the Dodgers threaten with runners at the corners, but Kemp bounces into the 4-6-3 double play. Hamilton, Frazier, and Phillips coming up. Price has put this lineup together for his Reds tonight, beginning with Billy Hamilton, the second best base stealer in the game, second only to Dee Gordon. And then it'll be Phillips and Bruce and Ludwig. Todd Frazier is having just a terrific year. He leads all National League third basemen with 13 home runs. Pena, Cozart, Lutz, and Cingrani round out the lineup to face 33-year-old right-hander Dan Herron, making his 13th start of the year.
Well, Dan Herron goes deep into the games. 11 out of 12 starts, 6 innings or more. But the thing he needs to try and avoid is the home run ball. He's been giving up an average about 1 a game. The thing for me I'd love to see him work on today is as he gets a little cutter happy, he uses his two-seam fastball also, because he's not going to beat you with velocity. So I think he needs to beat people with the cut fastball and the two-seamer combination.
Billy Hamilton, the switch hitter, leading it off at 253. High and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Hamilton, the big difference between Hamilton and Gordon, not so much batting average. Gordon at 255, or a little higher than that, but Hamilton at 253. 1 ball, 1 strike. Gordon at 284 is the on base percentage. Hamilton's on base percentage is just 288. So when he gets on, he's dangerous, doesn't get on as much as the Reds would like. D's on base percentage 333. And that is Sean Figgins making a terrific play. Hamilton retired, 1 out and nobody on.
Sean Figgins making a great play, showing off the range, but it was also knowing who was running. He got rid of that ball quickly. Watch the exchange from his glove to his hand on this ball. He gets it, bam, doesn't even worry about setting his feet. I have to get rid of it because Hamilton is getting down the line. A good thing about Romack recognizing where Sean Figgins was playing, didn't go after that ball and went right back to first base.
Well, we're watching Jamie Romack play first base for the first time. And he has played it a lot over the years, Paul.
Yeah, he started there in Double-A in 2011, played the full year there, and then sporadically off and on since then. But he said he is very comfortable at all the corner positions, outfield and infield.
Todd Frazier takes a strike, 1-1.
And a little bit tongue-in-cheek, Jamie said also that, but I'm most comfortable when I play one place consistently. I don't think that's going to happen at this point in his career right now.
To shortstop on the second hop, bobbled by Ramirez, and he still has time to throw out Frazier, 2 out. Defensively tonight, Turner and Ramirez on the left side of the infield, Sean Figgins and Jamie Romack at first base. Not exactly what the Dodgers envisioned when they broke camp and head off to Australia. Kemp, Van Slyke, and Puig in the outfield, and Fedorovich behind the plate. And so with the lefty starting tonight, Cingrani, Ethier, Gordon, and Gonzalez all having the night off. Brandon Phillips takes a breaking ball for a strike. Phillips with 4 home runs and 22 runs batted in. Maybe the best defensive second baseman in the game.
He's a lot of fun to watch, not only during the game when he gets a play, but in the pregame workouts when he's taking ground balls. That's my favorite time to watch infielders, Nomar, because you see so many plays and so many reps. It's so fun if you come out to a ballpark early, fans, and see infield.
Defending Gold Glove winner.
It's funny you say that, as I was actually out here early for batting practice just watching him take infield. Just taking ground balls. I mean, he was at the cut of the grass as batting practice was going on, and he had a glove where there was no pocket. It was flat, and he was just working on it, and he made it just look way too easy.
And here is Hanley Ramirez throwing out Phillips, and that ends the inning. A good inning for Dan Herron, retiring the Reds in order. In the second, Van Slyke and Turner and Romack are coming up. This coming Sunday is, of course, Father's Day, and spend it with your dad at Dodger Stadium when the Dodgers take on the Diamondbacks at 1:10. First 40,000 fans in attendance receive a sports bag, and after the game, dads and their families are invited onto the field to play a game of catch, all compliments of Avita Water. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Tony Cingrani to face Scott Van Slyke to begin the second inning. Cingrani, who has been right on the edge. And again, we were mentioning earlier, Matt Latos due to come off the disabled list. And between Latos, when healthy, and Cueto, they've got quite a 1-2 punch in Cincinnati, and Cingrani may be on the outside looking in. So he's got a big start in front of him tonight as Van Slyke takes a strike. It's 0-1.
Scotty Van Slyke has the second best batting average against left-handers this year for the Dodgers. Number one is Puig, but he's got the number one on base percentage. That's .444 against lefties this year. Puig's only at .404. So good place for him here.
And again, a home run hitter's haven. And so Van Slyke with the start tonight in center. Ethier the night off. And Van Slyke fouls it back. Well, batting against lefties has been an issue for the Dodgers all year. Ethier has struggled. Gonzalez has struggled. Kemp, with 3 hits over the weekend, in spite of that against lefties, has struggled this year.
You would think with Puig, Hanley, and Kemp that we would struggle.
Well, that you're going,
lefties.
oh, that every team goes, I don't think I want to throw a lefty against these guys.
Van Slyke pops it foul behind the plate.
And Adrian Gonzalez has been pretty solid against lefties throughout his career.
You know, so far our right-handers and our left-handers are not hitting to their capabilities or what they've done throughout their career. That's for sure. And we've said that. We said about this offense, we're waiting for it to just kind of click and get rolling consistently.
And the disparity, just saw the numbers between hitting against left-handers and right-handers. That's the biggest disparity of any of the 30 teams. And that is drilled to left center field. It is on its way, and goodbye. What a shot by Van Slyke. His 5th of the year. He likes left-handers, and the Dodgers take a 1-0 lead.
I'm glad we were telling the numbers about Van Slyke not struggling against left-handers, but he was just in sync on this one. I mean, the rhythm at the plate, his timing, he gets the foot down perfectly. He gets a fastball that he can handle, and he hits it a long, long way. I know, Oral, you say this is a small ballpark, but no park was holding that one either.
So Van Slyke, all 5 of his home runs against southpaws. Cingrani serves up his 11th home run of the year. And Turner takes low and inside, 1 ball, no strikes. For the Dodgers, their 61st home run of the season. They're 5th in the league in that category.
We talked about Dan Herron, him given up home runs, almost averaging 1 a game. Well, Dan Herron, over his last 5 games, last 5 starts, has given up 8 home runs. Cingrani, last 5 starts, has given up 8 home runs as well.
So what you're suggesting is that might not be the last home run we see tonight.
Not, well, at least for the Dodgers, let's hope not.
So another long distance home run for the Dodgers. Through the middle into center field for a base hit. Justin Turner continues his hot hit. So Turner is at first base. Jamie Romack coming up. Romack with his first big league hit and RBIs yesterday. By the way, Van Slyke's home run, 439 feet. Hanley, of course, 472 yesterday. Romack takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
And send that message down to Hanley so he can give Van Slyke a little grief. Maybe show him, hey, maybe a couple more push-ups and you can hit it as far as I did.
So Romack getting his first start at first base. Swings and misses. "12 minor league seasons for Jamie Romack. And he's been in the bigs about a week now. He's played in Danville and Rome and Hickory and Lynchburg and Altoona and Wilmington, Springfield, Omaha, Memphis. Sounds like a Greyhound bus tour. Second strikeout of the game for Cingrani. First out of the second inning. And here's Tim Fedorovich with a 3-run home run the other night. Butera getting the night off. Fedorovich is 6 for 54. Cingrani has struggled in his last 4 starts. 0-4, an ERA of over 5. No balls and a strike to Fedorovich, with Herron on deck. The Reds begin the night 7.5 behind Milwaukee. Just 500 at home this year. Chopper to shortstop. Cozart's got one, and Phillips can't make the throw. Good hard slide for Turner. There's the second out. Cozart did all he could do with it.
Yeah, I mean, that ball was just a slow chopper. Gets it over there, and good job by Justin Turner going in hard, breaking up any chance of a double play.
Dan Herron takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Herron played collegiately, of course, at Pepperdine. He's a very good hitter there. Has 3 singles this year.
Yeah, and in the clubhouse earlier was Pepperdine was playing TCU for they're in the Super Regional against each other. This third game to see who goes to the College World Series. And Dan Herron says, yeah, we were ranked #1 when I was there, and we didn't make it to the College World Series. So he was kind of cheering those boys on.
Well, Herron is down on strikes. A leadoff home run here in the second inning. Van Slyke, his 5th of the year. And the Dodgers have struck first blood.
Ballpark here in Cincinnati, Ohio. The Dodgers with a 1-0 lead as we make our way to the bottom of the second inning, thanks to that solo shot by Scott Van Slyke. You just heard the guys talking about it a little bit earlier, how this certainly is a hitter-friendly ballpark, and the Dodgers and the Reds certainly, when healthy, two very formidable lineups. But you might be interested to know that they have the fewest combined runs per game in a National League Series. Now, this is dating back to 2012. The Reds against the Dodgers, fewer than 6 runs per game. In fact, the Dodgers in second place as well, with the Nationals at exactly 6 runs a game, followed by the Padres and the Braves and the Pirates versus the Marlins. So, guys, while this is, it certainly lends itself to the hitters, there's not a lot of runs when these two guys get together.
Jay Bruce leads it off and takes the ball outside. 1 ball, no strikes. And to follow that up, when the Dodgers and Reds faced one another a couple of weeks ago at Dodger Stadium, Dodgers won 2 of 3. The two teams combined to hit a hefty 205.
I think it's a tip of the hat to the two pitching staffs. The outstanding pitching of the Cincinnati Reds and the Dodger staff has been so good since 2012.
Jay Bruce with a shift on takes a strike.
Oh, I got a question for you. Alana touched on it about it being a hitter-friendly ballpark, and I can't argue with that. But we also talked about Colorado being that as well. We saw it because it was a big outfield, and also because the ball flies there, carries very well in that thin air. Ball carries well here. But we talked about also for pitchers how difficult it is in Colorado with the breaking ball not breaking as much with the spin. Is it the same that happens here as well, or no?
No, I think your breaking ball was going to break great here. And I think at sea level, this is a great atmosphere right now with the humidity in the air.
Romack makes a nice play, and Herron covers 1 out.
When you pitch here, you want the ball hit on the ground. You know, you're trying to keep the ball off the barrel of the bat and then also get it hit on the ground. And the only time you should pitch up here is to change the eye line if you're sinking the ball, or if you have a strong enough fastball to beat the guys upstairs. And, you know, think of a guy like Latos and Homer Bailey. Those kind of starters for the Cincinnati Reds have outstanding fastballs that can pitch up in the strike zone.
Right. Okay.
So you've got the dimensions and the humidity working here for the hitter. And Ryan Ludwig, just 4 home runs and 18 runs batted in. But this year the Reds have not had much of an offense. Into left center field, it is Van Slyke taking charge. Cincinnati Reds this year, team batting average of .237. And the Dodgers have scored 76 more runs than Cincinnati has. Dodgers, of course, playing a much more difficult offensive ballpark than the Reds do. So Brian Price's club has been disappointing with bats in their hands. Not so Brian Pena. In fact, the catchers have done very well for Cincinnati between Devin Mesoraco and Pena. Pena's at .261, 3 home runs, 13 runs batted in. The Van Slyke home run, the difference in the game in the bottom of the second. Pena takes a strike. It's 1-1. Herron came into the game giving up 10 home runs, as did Cingrani. And a 2-out single to right for Pena. First hit of the game for the Reds.
That's the first real mistake we've seen from Dan Herron, where he left that ball up in Pena's eyes. That was something. A hitter's eyes just light up when you throw it up there.
Brian Pena with his base hit ends an 0 for 17 slump. And a strike, 0-1 to Zach Cozart. Cozart is 4 for his last 11. Time called by home plate umpire Brian Knight in his 6th big league season. He's 39 and from Helena, Montana. Cozart at .221 takes outside. The Reds 7.5 behind Milwaukee. The Dodgers 9.5 behind the Giants. Dodgers 2 games over 500. This time a year ago they were 8 games under 500. Deep down the left field line. If it is fair, it is gone, and it's off the pole. It's a foul ball. Third base umpire Manny Gonzalez. The folks inside the ballpark thought it was a home run. Brian Price wants to have another look. Jay Bell, the bench coach, on the phone with the video fellas in the clubhouse. Did that hit off the pole or not?
Depending on the angle, what you look for on the replay is does the ball disappear or is the ball in clean sight the whole way? If it's in clean sight the whole way on an angle, it's foul. If the ball disappears, that means the pole got in the way. That means it's a home run.
Well, they're going to watch it on television in New York. And let's have a look-see.
From this angle, if you see the ball the whole way and the pole doesn't get in the way, it's foul. It looks foul to me. Looks like I saw the ball the whole time, that it passed in front of the pole.
Well, I mean, it's a big hit right here, so it doesn't hurt to go check and make sure.
From our vantage point with the naked eye, I thought it was fair by a lot.
Right.
But now watching the replay,
well, we see it there.
I think the only way that it's fair is if it grazes the pole.
Right.
Because if it's on the right side of the pole, that screening is there for a reason to help the umpires.
Yeah, that'd be gone. We still see it. So at least we know it's on the left side of the pole. The left side of the pole.
Yeah.
It's determined to be a foul ball.
You know, what's interesting is even Cozart really didn't, make a big deal about that either. Usually as a hitter, you're going, wait a minute, that was fair. You feel like, I think I kept that inside.
Well, Dan Herron happy to get it back because Cozart 3 for 5 in his career against Herron and has 2 home runs. And missed a third by inches. 1-2, down and away.
Nice little adjustment by a veteran pitcher right there. You hang a split and then you almost give up a home run, and then your next one you make the adjustment and at least throw it in the dirt and get the release point out front.
Cozart has 2 home runs on the year and 2 in his career against Herron. And it drops in front of Puig for a hit. So a 2-out rally for the Reds in the bottom of the second.
And that's why I think because of a hit like that right there, you have to go next level on the sabermetrician type stats. This goes in the books as a hit, and that Cozart owns Dan Herron. But I think sometimes you have to look at the video and see what type of hit was it really. Because if you get a few of those, you can look like you own a pitcher when really makes some bad swings.
That at bat was a push, though. He missed a home run by a fraction of an inch, and then bloops a single into right. So we'll call Cozart even.
If I'm a hitter, that's not a push. I wanted the home run.
Well, he ended up with a single on a nothing. Now Donald Lutz, and a ball in the dirt gets past Fedorovich, and from nothing now the Reds have second and third.
There's a 0 up on the board for the Cincinnati Reds right now, but Dan Herron and Tim Fedorovich need to really get on the same page right now and bear down, because this is one of those innings that can just silently kill you. The possible foul home run, yeah, it's foul, then the bloop hit, now the wild pitch, and you go, all of a sudden, how'd they get 2 runs?
Right. I saw the way Fedorovich went after that ball. He really didn't get his body in front of that, like that. Like that's how you go over there. You see most catchers, they turn the glove over and get their body in front to keep that in, to knock it down. And the pitch before, he just kind of kept it in the backhand and tried to stab at it, think he can pick at it rather than getting his body in front of it.
Now on 2-0, they're going to walk Lutz to pitch to the pitcher Cingrani.
This always makes me nervous, is when you kind of just go an intentional walk right before the pitcher. Going, okay, well, the pitcher's up, and you know his bases loaded. Let's go after him. But Cingrani, you know, he's an athlete. I just said that before the game. He can handle the bat. Runs hard down the line. So this isn't just, you can't take it easy on Cingrani just because he has a P next to his position.
Pena, Cozart, and Lutz, the base runners. Billy Hatcher, the first base coach. Cingrani was 7 for 28 last year, 250.
Likes to bunt, likes to use his wheels, even a surprise bunt.
There's a strike, 0-1. Well, Herron retired the first 5 batters tonight. Then Pena singled to right. Cozart narrowly missed a home run and blooped one to right. Now the count is 0-2 to Cingrani. Lutz the intentional walk. And Herron's a strike away from getting out of this mess.
Little adjustment by Dan Herron compared to starts in the past. When he's gotten the jams early, he hasn't gone to his split finger because he hasn't had a feel for it yet early in the game, and he goes to it later, and that's when we've seen him settle down. Here, going right to it.
And it gets past Fedorovich, and the Reds tie the score.
That was the split finger and just overcooked it a little bit, and FedEx wasn't able to get in front of it. It was a wild one. That ball just was gone to FedEx's left the whole way. Just didn't get out there in time.
So the wild pitch evens the score at 1. Second and third, 1-2 to Cingrani, and now it's 2-2. Well, this is an ugly second inning. And the 34th pitch upcoming. The 23rd of the second inning.
Since that ball being narrowly foul on the home run, possible home run, it's really looked ugly.
Well, Herron gets out of the mess, but not before the Reds score a run. 2 hits. They leave 2, and we go to the third, tied at 1. It'll be the top of the order for the Dodgers, and join us on the next episode of Backstage Dodgers as the Dodgers scouting department selects players during the 2014 MLB draft this past week. Plus, don't miss Yasiel Puig and the team as they head to Colorado and play in the snow. Catch this new episode of Backstage Dodgers Thursday night at 7 o'clock on Sportsnet LA. if it walks like a duck. And the Dodgers give up 2 hits, 2 wild pitches, and that turns into a Cincinnati run as we go to the 3rd. As Billy Hamilton has some friends out there. So Cingrani has been given the run back. Figgins leads off. Strikeout victim in his first at bat and takes low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. So a sloppy inning for the Dodgers in the bottom half of the 2nd after the Van Slyke home run opened the 2nd inning. And Figgins takes a strike. And the Ramirez on deck. Yasiel Puig to follow. A couple of weeks ago, the Dodgers took 2 out of 3 from the Reds back in Los Angeles. 1-2 to Sean Figgins.
It looks like our right-handed hitters, which is the whole lineup, Nomar. You got to sit on the fastball. He doesn't look like he wants to pitch with his slider or his changeup right now. Just the fastball high and away to the righties is the swing and miss pitch. But other than that, he's throwing a lot of strikes.
And that's what's gotten him in trouble. Last year when Cingrani came up, he was just going after hitters with a fastball, especially up in the zone like that, knowing he can challenge them and just attack them. But now it seems like he's going, okay, I don't know if I have as much confidence up in the zone, or I'm trying to get it a little bit down more, and that's when he actually leaves it over the plate. But that's when he's flirting with that borderline strike on the top of the zone, he gets a lot of pitchers go out there and swing. And you're right, his slider has just been in the dirt, so you can lay off that. So you really got to just set your sights in an area and look fastball.
Ramirez single to right in his first at bat. Dodgers need Hanley's bat to warm up, and of course he hit that monstrous home run yesterday. Puig on deck. 4 strikeouts for Cingrani. Hasn't walked anybody. It's high.
That was good discipline right there. 2-0 fastball. Hanley feeling very comfortable in the box, and you could tell he was winding up right there to let it go. But that was a pitch where he would have got himself out.
3-1.
And that's the one he's talking to himself about. He's like, okay, 3-0. I'm like, do I really want to go? Because he's still kind of feeling it. If he was Hanley where he was just really locked in, he's letting that fly right there. But when you're going, okay, this is good. Don't force it right now. Let me take the 3-0 pitch.
Got under it. And Cozart's got a beat. And the catcher's 2 out.
But he's still got a good one to hit. He did. 2 out of the last 3 were right there in his happy zone.
Just looking at Cingrani's body language, it looked like he got away with one. Now here's Puig. Yasiel Puig, the National League's leading vote getter among outfielders. He, Giancarlo Stanton, and Carlos Gomez are the top 3. The voting just came in a few minutes ago. And Puig fouls it into the dirt. 0-1.
Unless something drastic happens, looks like Yasiel will be in the top 3 no matter what.
D. Gordon, by the way, is 2nd among National League All-Star second basemen in voting. But Chase Utley has nearly twice as many votes. Adrian Gonzalez leads all National League first basemen in votes with 888,000. Puig has 1,472,000. A deep fly ball to right. It's going to stay in the park for Bruce. And the Dodgers go in order in the 3rd. Nothing across. Be the top of the order for the Reds and the bottom of The first two batters, but then Pena and Cozart back-to-back hits, a couple of wild pitches, and after the Van Slyke home run in the second, Cincinnati evened the score. Coming into the game, Herron, a model of consistency. Only a dozen walks in 75 innings, only 2 wild pitches. But struggled in the second. We begin the third. We're tied at 1, and Billy Hamilton robbed of a hit in his first at-bat. Grounds one to short, backhanded by Ramirez, a throw, and he got him. Terrific play by Hanley Ramirez, getting the speedy Billy Hamilton.
And that's a really good play by Hanley Ramirez, because when you have to go to your right, that's the one that makes you nervous with the speedy Hamilton, and you realize he had to get rid of this quickly to get Hamilton by a few steps. He made that look way too easy. That play was a lot more difficult than the way he made it look. He made a good throw to first base.
He knew exactly who was running. Brings up Todd Frazier. Bounced to short in his first at-bat. Frazier leads the Reds in home runs and runs batted in out of Toms River, New Jersey. Out of the Scott Rowland mold.
Nice example right there by how defense really helps a starting pitcher, a bullpen guy, pitch count wise, situation wise. Billy Hamilton on compared to not on, compared to pitching to this guy from the windup, Frazier, who's their best hitter right now, compared to pitching in the stretch with Hamilton on first. It's just when the Dodger defense was suspect early in the season, and now it's starting to solidify. That's just that hidden thing that we can talk about so much. It changes the game.
Romack on the right side of the infield.
Hanley bobbles that ball. It's probably a rule to hit. You know, if he goes for the quick exchange and just drops it, and they watch Hamilton blaze down there.
So now 2 out and nobody on, and Brandon Phillips coming up.
But before the game, I was talking to their hitting coach, Don Long. We were talking about Billy Hamilton, and he was saying how he really affects the game or affects the pitchers when he's on base. So it's a good job by Hanley, and it's a good job the whole infield. You can also see how actually the infield, how they change their positions, knowing they have to get in closer, take different angles at balls because of his speed.
Hamilton and D. Gordon cut from the same cloth, of course. And now Brandon Phillips, who bounced to short in his first at-bat. Phillips with 4 home runs and 22 runs batted in.
Brandon Phillips is an anticipatory type hitter. He's a guess hitter too. And then they've got Joey Votto, who's on the DL but might be back as soon as tomorrow, who's the complete patient hitter. And then everybody else on the team is kind of in between. But their offensive leaders are 2 different characters at the plate, as far as the one guy that attacks and anticipates what's coming, and Joey Votto, who is notorious taker and patient.
Gone are the days of the big red machine. The Cincinnati Reds right now ranked 13th in the league in runs and hits. So getting Votto back, of course, will be a big step forward. Then you can put Votto and Phillips and Bruce together, as well as Frazier. Strike on the outside corner.
There's that little 2-seamer right there when the hitters start to expect the cutter and they take that pitch because it starts on the outside corner. But when he throws his 2-seamer off that cutter trajectory, the ball stays there, or actually comes back to the right-handed hitter on that corner, and he gets a called strike.
Van Slyke stumbles and falls, and it drops in. And now Phillips takes a big turn. And so a 2-out hit.
Well, that's just unfortunate for Dan Herron. First of all, that ball wasn't hit very well off the end of the bat, and you can see Van Slyke, as he's coming to get that ball, he ends up slipping. I mean, and Brandon Phillips recognizing, thinking he might have a chance to get to second, but I like that by Phillips. I mean, a good aggressive turn, looking to try to get the extra base. That's how you're supposed to run the bases.
So the stumble by Van Slyke. The inning is prolonged. Bruce is the hitter, and he swings and misses. It's 0-1. Bruce bounced to first in his first at-bat.
Brandon Phillips on that hit came around first base like Billy Hatcher, his first base coach, used to in his playing days. Aggressive around those turns.
Fedorovich has been busy tonight with a lot of balls in the dirt. A couple got past him in the second inning. It contributed to the Reds' only run.
Well, Dan Herron has been struggling as far as putting up a lot of zeros. He's been able to go deep into games, but I think the biggest strategy change I've seen so far is he's going with more split fingers today, and that's why we're seeing a lot of those balls in the dirt. He's trying to bury it.
Herron, in his first 6 starts, a record of 4-0 and an ERA of 2.39. In his last 6, 1-4 and a 4.38 ERA, and it just does hook foul. Another close call off Herron.
Well, could that be the reason why going more split fingers? You said, when I asked you, said, listen, I'm thinking about getting more ground balls here because we know how well the ball flies out of this ballpark.
Yeah, and I think the reason he's bouncing so many, believe this or not, his side work was in Colorado. And to get action out of it, he probably had to be really out front and really down with that air. And then he comes here to sea level, and he's got that same out front release point and feeling. And this is the biggest I've seen his split finger all year and the most action.
Jay Bruce, 4 home runs and 20 runs batted in, and didn't miss his 5th by much. But he's down on strikes. No runs, 1 hit. And Dan Herron can breathe one enormous sigh of relief. As we head to the 4th, Kemp, Van Slyke, and Turner coming up. And 2014 Truck of the Year and first ever back-to-back champion. Tied at 1 as we head to the 4th at the Great American Ballpark. First of a 4-game series. There is, however, an 80% chance of rain here tomorrow. So I hope you fellas brought your rain slickers and galoshes.
Usually Oro brings one for me, so hopefully he packed it.
Of course, the yesterday's game in baseball parlance was banged. That is cut short. That was the first game that was stopped before 9 innings for the Dodgers in 15 years. course, half the games never get rained out at Dodger Stadium.
Impressive that Clayton Kershaw could strike out 9 in 5 innings. The way he was locked in, who knows how many he would have struck out if we went on, because his pitch count was in order too.
4th consecutive game with 9 strikeouts. Kemp swings and misses.
Well, I thought the Dodgers deserved one of those, especially how many extra inning games they've played this year.
So Clayton Kershaw, 4 consecutive games of 9 strikeouts. Dodger record 6 in a row set by who else? Sandy Koufax in '62. That's drilled down the left field line, and it is a fair ball. And Kemp is on his way to second base, and he's got a sliding double. Matt Kemp is beginning to turn it on.
Where this pitch is for Matt Kemp, him getting on top of this fastball was so impressive. I mean, we talked about Cingrani. Look where that pitch is, and he's able to get on top, and this barely stays in the ballpark. This hits off the wall. And the other thing is Matt Kemp right out of the box was thinking double, and if he doesn't, because he hit that ball so hard, that's why it was close. He was hustling out of the box over there. The ball bounced right to the left fielder there, and Matt Kemp turned that into a double. I mean, looking really good and comfortable and calm at home plate right now.
2 for 2, a single and a triple and a walk yesterday. A double and 2 at-bats tonight. And Van Slyke takes a strike. It's 0-1. So Van Slyke, all 5 of his home runs have come against left-handed pitching. And of course, the Dodgers have struggled through the year against southpaws. Kemp's beginning to warm up against lefties too. In the dirt, gets past Pena, and going to third is Kemp.
Cingrani has not had good command of his off-speed stuff, and with the right-hander Van Slyke, he'd love for him to hit the ball to the left side to hold Kemp to second. Goes with an off-speed pitch and just really pulls it into the ground. So the situation forced him into a pitch selection he's not been comfortable with all night and not executed very well. Turns into a wild pitch.
Cingrani and Herron are taking a walk on the wild side tonight. 2 wild pitches for Herron, 1 for Cingrani, and the Dodgers with a lead run 90 feet away. Brian Price is playing the infield back so early in the game.
That clears up in Scott Van Slyke's mind whether to hit for the team or hit for himself with no outs and a man on second. Now he can just try and drive the run in.
But late on the fastball, it's 2-2.
Well, with the infield back, sometimes you'll see managers, once they get 2 strikes, then bring the infield in. But now you're allowed to just kind of shorten up, stay up the middle, because even a ground ball will get that run in.
Justin Turner is on deck.
I know you can't eliminate the off-speed stuff in your head with a man on third here and 2 strikes, Nomar, but you got to believe he doesn't have a lot of confidence on the mound about bouncing a slider after throwing a wild pitch.
I usually look up anyway when I get a man on third because of that fact.
Count goes full.
Comfortable count for Scott Van Slyke, since that was the count he hit his home run in his first at bat.
Outfield straight away. Frazier protecting the line at third, and Van Slyke just gets a piece of it. Up to 55 pitches, and Van Slyke has made Cingrani's life miserable tonight, including a home run that traveled 439 feet in his first at bat in the second inning. Infield shades Van Slyke to the left. Outfield is straight away, and it's ball 4.
Boy, I love the fact that he could pass the baton there and not selfishly try and pick that RBI up by himself and make an out that he doesn't have to make.
I mean, that was a tough pitch to lay off of too. That was kind of that borderline low pitch, but you know, it was a ball. When I see it, to me it was a ball, but also you would hope that the umpire wouldn't give him that pitch, especially a pitcher who's having trouble finding that strike zone.
For Justin Turner, it began with the Reds 8 years ago. Runners at the corners. Van Slyke back easily. Cingrani, who struggled in his last 4 starts, winless with an ERA of over 5. Dodgers have him on the ropes here in the 4th. There's 1 ball and no strikes. Romack is on deck. Kemp and Van Slyke at the corners. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, Justin Turner has been filling in admirably for Juan Uribe, who's been on the DL. And his hit coming into this game was around 340 since like the middle of May. But also, he's doing an excellent job at runners in scoring position, hitting at a 357 this year.
In his time in New York, Turner was a very good pinch hitter, so hitting in the clutch is something he's done well. Four for his last 10. And over the past month, 338 with 3 home runs and 11 runs batted in. So he's been a good understudy. Jamie Romack, who struck out in his first at bat, in the on deck circle, and Cingrani already at 60 pitches. Dodgers making him work, and that one is blooped into right field for a base hit. If you ever needed a working definition of a duck snort, that was it. So the Dodgers on the RBI single for Turner. Kemp scores, take a 2-1 lead.
A good job by Justin Turner putting the ball in play and getting fortunate, and then another great job by Scott Van Slyke in reading this to be out into the outfield grass. It's a ball. Justin pulls his hands in with kind of an emergency hack, gets the bat on it and gets enough on it to bleed it out. But Scott Van Slyke gets a very nice jump to get himself over to third right there. Hesitated a little bit, but understood it's not about picking up Lorenzo Bundy as much as I know that I broke on time and I can get there.
Well, the Dodgers have runners at the corners.
I said along that too, Justin Turner was looking for that ball to see if he was going to overthrow the cutoff man so he could get to second base. So good base running all around.
Romack takes high and away, 1 ball, no strikes. Dodgers' first run scored on a 439-foot home run. The second run scored on about a 120-foot base hit.
Here's an opportunity for the Dodgers to have a big inning. I mean, when you're facing this Cincinnati staff, you have Cingrani, who we mentioned has been struggling over his last 4 games with an ERA over 5. But at the same time, too, they have a good bullpen out there in Cincinnati. So if you can go out there with that lead and try to avoid the 2 guys they have on their back end.
And it's popped up. And Lutz has plenty of room. So Romack fouls out. The problem for the Reds is getting to the back end. Broxton and Aroldis Chapman have done well, but the collective ERA out there is 4.16. In the meantime, the Dodger bullpen has solidified over the past 3 weeks to a month. Now Fedorovich trying to keep this inning going with 1 out and a chance for the big inning. But Herron is on deck. Fedorovich bounced to short in his first at bat. Where is it a good move and where does it become a balk?
Well, like I said, when I watch him at the angle that I'm having, he leans over there. There's a lot of times where, as a base runner stealing, I think it's a balk. But watch, see how his body's leaning toward first. Home plate umpires notice that, and they're saying, okay, he's being consistent. Then where he's stepping, you should have the first base umpires trying to notice his step. If the step is too much toward home plate, or if is he actually stepping more toward first. So Cingrani is stepping toward first base, and that's why they're not going to call it a balk.
The 0-1 to Fedorovich with runners at first and third.
The subtleties of the pitching, the mechanic, the throwing the ball to first for Cingrani. He wants to get his toe of his right foot facing first, even though he's cheating on the angle, the 45-degree angle at times. As long as he's got his toe squared up pointing to first base, he gives the illusion to the umpire that he's stepping in that direction. If he opens that toe up towards home plate and gets a little duck-footed, that's when they call the balk also.
Into right field. Bruce makes the catch. Now tagging Van Slyke. Comes in to score. It was a awkward piece of base running for Van Slyke. He comes away with the run on the sacrifice fly by Fedorovich, but he probably made it a lot more difficult for himself than he should have.
Watch right here. He goes off. It's like, wait a minute. There's less than 2 outs. You got to get back there and tag. And he realized that. I don't know if Lorenzo might have yelled at him and said, hey, tag. So he's very fortunate, because it looked like he might have forgotten how many outs there. See how he's kind of just coasting, oh, he's going to be out. But whoa, get back there. And lucky for the Dodgers, he made it.
And now a liner into right field off the bat of Herron that ends the inning. So the Dodgers come up with a couple of runs and a couple of hits and leave one, and lead 3-1 after 3.5.
Sportsnet LA. Dodgers with a 3-1 lead as we make our way to the bottom of the fourth inning. Jamie Romack giving Adrian Gonzalez a day off at first base today. 0 for 2 so far today, but he came up big in the 6th inning yesterday in Colorado. In fact, in his first Major League Baseball start, he drove in 2 runs with his first career hit. It was a double. It was followed up by an RBI single by Miguel Rojas. In fact, it was the first career Major League Baseball hit and RBI for both of those gentlemen. First one in back-to-back plate appearances. The first time that's happened in MLB history since September 20th of 1948. The first time in Dodgers history since 1920. These guys collectively coming into today, just 9 games, 11 plate appearances, getting their first Major League hit and RBI yesterday, guys.
And I had a Stan Lapata baseball card. Now you know you're getting old. Or at least I do. Ryan Ludwig leads it off. And he takes a ball outside and low, 1 ball and no strikes.
I'm not going to leave you hanging there, Charlie. I feel like I'm getting old too.
He was a catcher for the Phillies, but I remember him at the tail end of his career, not at the beginning. Ryan Ludwig takes inside. 2 balls and no strikes. LaPada's card, I can say with a fair degree of certainty, was sacrificed in the spokes of a Schwinn racer.
If we only knew that baseball cards would go up in value, what we would have to this day.
I was wise enough to keep some of the good ones. Stan LaPada did not make the cut.
I don't know where all my cards went, but I don't know if I was victim of the closet got cleaned when I went to college. But I know I didn't take great care of them, and I should have. But I know I spent a lot of allowance money walking up to the corner store to buy a pack, and I couldn't believe on my birthday my parents would buy me a whole box.
Oh,
a box of cards.
Topps cards were currency.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's well hit to left field. Kemp is going back. He is at the wall, and it is gone. A home run. Ryan Ludwig with his 5th home run of the year. Just over the yellow line. And the Dodger lead is now 3-2.
Or I think this is where I could say, yes, the ballpark definitely helped Ludwig here because he didn't really hit that square. He got that off a little bit off the end of his bat, but enough to carry. And, you know, a few other ballparks around the league, that ball would be an out and not out of the ballpark.
Well, we told you earlier in the game that coming into this ball game, Dan Haren had given up 7 home runs in his last 4 starts over 24 innings. And Tony Cingrani had given up 7 home runs in his last 22 2/3 innings. So each home run, or each pitcher, has surrendered a home run tonight. Pena to left, in and over, and now back is Kemp.
What I like about our pitching staff, our starters, is when they give up a home run, they get right back in the strike zone. We saw yesterday Clayton Kershaw gave up a home run. All of a sudden came right back, 0-2, struck out the next hitter. Dan Haren there came back, 1-1 count, gets a fly ball. It doesn't spin out of control when you get right back in the strike zone and trust your stuff.
Cozart takes a strike. Van Slyke's home run in the 2nd inning traveled 439 feet. This one traveled a Picayune 342. They count the same. It's 3-2. Cozart singled to right in his first at-bat. At 224, a couple of home runs and 14 runs batted in. Statistically, Oral, there's a significant difference between Haren and his first starts, the first 6 starts, and now his last 6+. Those are the statistics. Let's break it down as to what you are seeing. One hop, nice play by Justin Turner. 2 gone. What's the difference between now and then?
You know, I think early on in spring training, Dan Haren said, you know, I've got a few things I need to change. And in talking to him back then, it was the splitter and the cutter were getting too big, and they had too big a pattern. And the hitter was seeing them too early. And so the ones on the edge, the hitters were taking. And then he tightened it up. He tightened up the splitter. He tightened up the cutter. He got a little better precision with the 2-seamer. And I think through his first starts, he was really on a roll, a very tight, late movement and hitting his spots. And then I think the pitches got a little bigger pattern. And I think we've seen hitters reading the ball out of his hand a little bit more. And he hasn't had those put-away pitches because it's not as big a mystery. And I think we've seen tonight an adjustment to throwing more split fingers to get people off of that cutter. He hasn't been able to tighten it up quite as much yet. but he's trying to fool him a little more. And there's a curveball, which we're starting to see him. He used that in the first inning, down in that 75, 76 mile an hour. So I think he has recognized the difficulties that he's having of late, and he's making a veteran adjustment. He's going to 2 different pitches and trying to say, you know what, I haven't been able to fix the other thing, the big pattern cutter, but I'm able to maybe throw some different pitches and different counts.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Donald Lutz, who was intentionally walked in his first at bat. Lutz has been playing some since Joey Votto went on the disabled list, but Votto could be back as early as tomorrow, maybe the next day. Getting over a quad issue. 2-2 to Lutz, with Cingrani on deck. And now the 2-2. Into right field. Back goes Puig. He is at the wall, and so is Van Slyke. And it is Van Slyke who makes the catch. And that will end the inning. Sprinting back in. And down the stretch they come. The Dodgers host Tulowitzki and the Rockies at 7:10, and the first 40,000 fans in attendance take home an autographed baseball in a tin, presented by MasterCard. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. So the Dodgers with a 3-2 lead, each side with a home run. Van Slyke, his 5th of the year in the 2nd. Ludwig's 5th of the year in the 4th. And Sean Figgins will lead it off here in the 5th. He's been struck out twice by Cingrani, who has fanned 4, walked 1. 3 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Reds, and Figgins takes a strike. It's 0-1. And the Ramirez on deck, and Yasiel Puig to follow. There has been but 1 clean inning so far tonight. Aaron retired the Reds in order in the 1st. The Dodgers have had at least 1 base runner aboard. Correction, they've had in the 3rd inning the Dodgers went down in order as well. So each side retired in order just but once. But for Cingrani, you get a sense it's just been an uphill struggle all night.
Yeah, for me, he's had trouble really establishing that secondary stuff. to get hitters off of it, and he hasn't pitched ahead in the count very well, except to a few people. And even the body language right there tells you that he didn't feel like he's on his game.
That 11-pitch third inning is when he retired the Dodgers in order. 3-2 to Figgins. Figgins with 13 hits and 11 walks. So he's been on base nearly 40% of the time.
Going to need a new bat.
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing Cingrani's been able to do, though. He's gotten a couple of the Dodger hitters in on the hands, but they've also found a couple of them have found the holes. We saw Hanley Ramirez, his base hit kind of flared over there to right field, and same thing with Justin Turner's.
Cingrani out of Illinois. This is his 11th start of the year. Phillips with the backhand makes it look easy. 1 out in the 5th.
Yeah, I think the word easy is the best way to put it there, Charlie. You're exactly right. I mean, this is one where as a hitter you're going, really, do you have to just kind of make it look like, oh, that was just an easy hit routine, because that was anything but routine. He's just so smooth out there, and like he's so calm.
The thing that made it so easy is he caught it and stopped at the same exact time, where a lot of people have to catch it, kind of catch themselves, you know, now plant and throw, and you got a chance to beat it out.
Yeah, when he slid and caught, when he set, he didn't have to worry about getting his feet in order. He was like I can just throw from here. I'm already in a position to just throw the ball across to first base.
Brandon Phillips, 4 Gold Gloves, not by accident.
Some infielders play infield with their feet. Some infielders play infield with their arm. He can do it with both.
Everything.
He's got it all.
Ramirez has singled in 2 at-bats, and Hanley's bat's beginning to warm up. But he fouls it out of play.
I think of Adrian Beltre down in Texas, the way he plays infield with his arm. He catch the ball in any posture, any angle, and he'll just take the ball, separate his hands from his glove, and go wham, and just from anywhere throw a perfect strike, 90 miles an hour to first base.
I mean, guys, fellow infielders, I'm like, how do you do that? How do you? I mean,
he doesn't set his shoulders, his feet, or anything.
He just gets it. It can be at his side, and he can still throw it 90 miles an hour across the field. I mean, wherever it is, you're right. He just fires it across.
And that's what I mean by an infielder plays with his arm.
Brandon plays with his arm, his hand, his glove hand, his feet.
Everything.
Yep.
Brandon Phillips came up with the Indians back in 2002. And he has been in Cincinnati since 2006. And he is among the franchise leaders in so many categories. In fact, he's 13th in home runs.
I'll bet you he's #1 in Twitter followers too. He is on Twitter all the time.
Is that in the media guy, Charlie? His Twitter followers? No, they don't have that yet.
But he's one of those guys that has contests on there, and people, he'll say, I'll come out to your Little League game, or, oh, hey, I'll have dinner with you. He's always got some activity going on.
Now 2-2 to Hanley Ramirez with Yasiel Puig on deck.
$915,500 followers. That's what the truck just told me. Almost 1 million. We got to start following Charlie.
What you mean, we, Kemosabe? Foul back and out of play. %80 chance of rain tomorrow, but if we're able to get the game in, we'll be back with your first pitch about 4:10 Pacific Beckett and Leake are scheduled to go. Here's the 2-2. Call strike 3 for Cingrani. He now has 5 strikeouts on the night, 2 out and nobody on, and here comes Yasiel Puig.
I see Hanley Ramirez walking back. I think it's just more frustrated that this was a really good pitch right here. I mean, down in the zone, and perfect spot. It's one of those as a hitter you're going, I really wish you had called that a ball. I know it was borderline, but even if I swung, I may not have had a chance to hit it. It's just a good pitch.
Now Puig, who's 1 for 2. Puig at .336 now, second leading hitter in the National League, second to Tulowitzki. And with the latest All-Star voting, Yasiel Puig is the National League leader among the outfielders. Tulowitzki is the leading vote getter, period, with over 2 million. Puig 1,472,000. He and Stanton and Carlos Gomez are the top 3 vote getters among the outfielders. Once a week, the All-Star balloting is updated, and Adrian Gonzalez is the leading vote getter for the moment among first basemen. Chase Utley among the second baseman is first. D. Gordon is second. David Wright, the leading vote getter at third base. D. Adrian. Tulowitzki among the shortstops, leading vote getter by far. Brandon Crawford second. Yadier Molina, the leading vote getter for the catchers. Puig takes a walk. Second walk given up by Cingrani. With 2 out, Matt Kemp coming up.
Matt Kemp has been swinging the bat. Yasiel Puig is in scoring position over there at first, and this inning is not over.
I'll tell you, I look like Cingrani, the way he pitched to Puig was, okay, I'm not going to give him anything. I'm not going to give in. Like, it's okay if I face Matt Kemp, but I'm like, the way he's swinging it, I don't know if that was a good idea.
Lashed a double into the left field corner in the 4th inning and would come around to score on a Turner base hit. Dodgers have out hit the Reds 6-4. They lead 3-2, and Puig is back standing up.
Cingrani might have thought it's easier to get Puig out at first.
Maybe. And you know, I'll tell you, the way Matt Kemp and the way this ballpark is, I really wouldn't think about stealing. I mean, just let Matt swing here, because like you said, I am in scoring position with the way he's swinging right now.
And he has been swinging awfully well the last 3-4 days. Another toss to first base. Puig has stolen 6 out of 10, and Pena has thrown out 4 out of 12. And Kemp is 1 for 2, and hitting .255. A ball and no strikes to Kemp. It's Scott Van Slyke on deck. Cingrani now up to 87 pitches. 59 for strikes. 1-1. On the trip, Matt Kemp is 6 for 11. Short lead for Puig. Surprises Cingrani is spending as much time preoccupied with Puig as he is.
Well, like you said, we talked about him. He had 6 pickoffs last year. So far he's had 2 right now. He knows the Dodgers steal a lot of bases, and he knows Yasiel's one of them that's aggressive out there, trying to help himself out. We can have a look at exactly what I'm talking about. This is going home on the left and going to first on the right. See that lean? See the lean on the right where he's going to first base? that's the difference right there from his pick to when he's going home. And it's a little bit tougher at first base because you're at a little bit different. That was a good angle for us to see and catch the lean, but at first it almost looks like it's the same when he's going to home and coming over.
And on that pitch, Puig was heading back to first base at the time of the release of the ball.
That's the angle I'm talking about. Like I said, it looks almost the same from that from the angle when you're leading off. But from the angle we showed you, you can clearly see it is two different leans from Cingrani.
2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. Oh, that's the downside, of course, of being preoccupied. And it got past Donald Lutz, and Puig goes to second base.
I'll tell you, every time Puig slides, it makes me nervous. It looks like he's going to hurt something, or it always seems like he hurts something. And even on this one right now, let's not forget he is dealing with a hip flexor issue. And see how his feet, and you know, right now he's kind of just playing with his leg. Let's hope he's all right. That's one thing I think he needs to practice, is just figuring out how to slide.
He didn't exactly stick the landing.
No.
And he's chirping with Brandon Phillips. Here's the 2-2, and now Cingrani steps off the rubber.
And we're going to have another look. This is what I'm talking about. Okay, where that, I don't know how to.
He's lucky he could
yes.
break his ankle.
Yeah.
I mean,
so now the count is 2-2, and Kemp steps out of the box.
In Dodger Town in Vero Beach, they had a sliding pit where they had a whole bunch of sawdust, and you'd run down through and then you'd slide into the sawdust to practice sliding. Real soft pit.
Here's a 2-2. Outside 3-2.
Well, now they have kind of this black pad that you can slide on, and there's kind of this mesh layer on top that kind of gives way to help you practice. And they don't let you really in spring training, you maybe do it one day, but I'll tell you, because you're worried about somebody getting hurt just practicing. But for Yasiel, he needs to practice that, because he's going to get hurt out there if he hasn't already.
3-2 to Kemp. Inside ball 4.
You know where he needs to slide? He needs to go to the edge of the pool and take 1 or 2 steps and just kind of slide in, just to get used to tucking your leg under and going into water. He's not going to hurt himself in going into water doing that. Just to build that, you know, there's no such thing as muscle memory, but build that movement to be able to get down.
As Jeff Pico comes out to have a brief conference with Tony Cingrani, who is up to 92 pitches, and after 2 out, nobody on, back-to-back walk. Scott Van Slyke is coming up.
I mean, I know we're talking about his sliding, but you know, he missed the last game. We were talking about him. It came from a slide. He slid into second base, and then after that slide, he had to come out. But he's joking around with Brandon, so
I'm sure they're laughing about it. Brandon came over and goes, "Was that your slide, dude?"
There is no shortage of personality between these two guys.
And I hope Yasiel is telling him, "Yeah, I slide like that all the time, unfortunately."
But, you know, we talk about him missing one game, but that awkward of slide, if all of a sudden he breaks something or hurts something, like that, we're not talking about one game. We're talking about a long time.
Scott Van Slyke in his first at-bat in the second inning on Carl's cam. Even in slow motion, it went out in a hurry. Traveled 439 feet. He has also walked tonight. Logan Ondrusek is beginning to warm up in the Reds bullpen. And Van Slyke with a chance to fatten the Dodgers' 1-run lead way outside and high. Beginning to get the sense that Cingrani's running out of gas. He has walked 3. He struck out 5. Next pitch will be his 95th. And Van Slyke, one of the few Dodgers who can hit lefties with some degree of regularity. To left field and deep and down the line, and it is a foul ball, and not by much. Again, only 328 feet down the line. Each side with a home run tonight. Van Slyke in the second. Ludwig hit one in the fourth. By that much. Justin Turner is on deck. Puig at second and Kemp at first. Pitch took forever to get there. And hopefully everybody's okay just above the roof of the first base dugout. And it would seem so. Oof. Justin Turner is on deck. Over the last 3 weeks, the Dodgers 11 up and 11 down. 2 games over 500. And the 2-2. That one is well hit to left, and that one's going to be a 3-run home run for Scott Van Slyke. His second of the night. He has driven in 4. And the Dodgers have fattened their lead. 6-2. He didn't miss one by much in this at bat, and then he cracks one over the wall and left.
Well, I actually like that foul ball that he had in the bat before, because he squared up and lined it, so that means he's staying back on it. And this one, he gets the barrel out, and we know Van Slyke looks for pitches he can drive out of the ballpark, and he got a fastball. We talked about how with Cingrani not being able to throw strikes with the off speed, you can look fastball. It's exactly what Van Slyke looked for, and he crushed it.
So Van Slyke came into the game with 7 runs batted in. He's got 4 tonight, and the Dodgers lead 6-2. Santiago takes over at third base. Todd Frazier moves from third to first. And the new pitcher is Logan Ondrusek, making his 19th appearance of the year. ERA just a shade under 4.5, but opponents have hit .310 against him. So a big night for Scott Van Slyke. One of the stories we detailed tonight through the game, the Dodgers, with the notable exception of Van Slyke, their inability to hit against left-handers, Van Slyke has taken it upon himself tonight with his second career multi-home run game, and he's got 4 runs batted in.
He's starting to remind me of another player that ended up having an exceptional career, that was a platoon guy only against lefties, played with the Dodgers, now plays with Washington, Jason Worth. It took him a while to get into the starting lineup against righties, both, and their left-handed abilities, hitting left-handers, got Jason a lot more at bats, and then all of a sudden he got a full opportunity. He's got the same height. I know the beard helps me remind him, but the swing, a lot of moving parts, takes some time to get it going. Get the timing up. Boy, he looks really good at the plate now. The eye he's developing and the power once the ball's in the strike zone.
3 plate appearances tonight. 3 runs scored, 2 home runs and a walk. 4 runs batted in. The 6-foot, 8-inch Logan Ondrusek strikes out Turner. That ends the inning. After 2 out, nobody on. Puig walks, Kemp walks, and Van Slyke with a 3-run shot. His 2nd of the night, his 6th of the year. And the Dodgers lead by 4. Here in Cincinnati, getting the start with Ethier and the bad back and his troubles against left-handed pitching. Van Slyke making the most of it with a solo home run in the 2nd inning. He walked and scored a run in the 4th, and then after Puig and Kemp walked with 2 out and nobody on, Van Slyke hit a 392-foot home run. So he's hit about 850 feet worth of home runs tonight. Santiago leading it off, came in part of the double shift. The switch hitter takes a strike.
Well, this is that big inning for Dan Herron now. You know, you get your offense put on a 3 spot for you. This is that shutdown inning.
And Van Slyke will have an easy play, won't he? That's where you got to hold serve.
You go out there as a pitcher and you've been resting a long time, 2 out, nobody on. You don't think you're getting any runs, so you go out there and get back into a tight game, and then all of a sudden the offense explodes. You're glad to sit there, and then to get a nice little routine bunt back to you, you feel like you're on a roll. Now get your team in the dugout.
Billy Hamilton is 0 for 2. A couple of infield outs, and when he's at bat, infield outs can be adventuresome. In his first at bat, Sean Figgins made a terrific play in the hole heading toward right field, and in the second at bat in the 3rd inning, Hamilton grounded to short, and a backhanded stab by Hanley Ramirez, making a terrific play. Well, there's a leading base stealer in the National League, and the second leading base stealer is in the batter's box, facing a 1-2 count.
I'll tell you, at the end of the year, and even sometimes this point in the year, when you know somebody might be in a battle that's on your team and you're facing the team, like somebody's going for a batting title or the stolen bases or home runs, you have a little extra on the mound when that battle comes up to protect your teammate in that race. Whether it's Hamilton keep him off base so D can keep the lead in stolen bases. If Nomar was in a batting title race and all of a sudden I'm facing him against some teammate of mine that's against Nomar, I'm going to try and really bear down.
And you step it up too against that team when you're in that race too. Yeah. I was in one. Going down to my batting title, my first one, it was late. For going into September, it was against Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter and I were 1-2. And then when we play them, obviously, for obvious reasons, we want to beat them, but that was kind of in the background.
Backhanded by Turner. And Romack digs it out. That ends the inning. A 1-2-3 inning for Herron, his first since the first, and will go to the sixth. Play to end the fifth inning on a low throw by Justin Turner.
And the key on Jamie Romack, he doesn't stride early. He waits till he sees the ball, and that allows him, there he is now, then to get into the position to scoop the ball. A lot of times there are first basemen who kind of get that foot out there way too early, and they're not in a good enough position to come up with a nice pick. But Jamie waited, ball was in the air, recognizing where it was coming and what he was going to have to do with it.
Romack took him 12 years to make it to the major leagues. In 2011, he played first base regularly down on the farm. And a strike, 0-1. Romack tonight is 0 for 2. Logan Ondrusek on in relief of Tony Cingrani, who went 4 2/3. Gave up 6 runs and 7 hits, 2 home runs, and both to Scott Van Slyke. One and 2 to Romack. Playing in Arkansas in 2011, 124 games. Played primarily at first base. So he's done it before. Call strike 3. Andrusek has come in relief. He has faced 2 batters. He's struck both of them out. Brings up Fedorovich. Or you were talking before about protecting your own in some kind of a race. And I've known Nomar, I don't know, a long time. Covered. And talking about protecting your own and so on. And I'm sitting here, friends. It was Jeter, A-Rod, and Nomar. You were one of the big 3 for a decade. And then there'd be Omar Vizquel and a couple of others along. When you played against those guys, Jeter in New York, those days, A-Rod in Seattle, later Texas, was there a greater intensity when you guys were playing against one another?
You wanted to do well, but not really because, oh, I want to be better than the other guy that they're all talking about us. I mean, you knew there's an intensity when you played New York, period. So that just was there, and you wanted to beat them.
Fedorovich with a liner to left, and that is over the head of Ludwig, and it'll go to the wall. And Fedorovich will get to second base with a 1-out stand-up double.
And along those lines, sir, I think if I got caught up on that and trying to be better, I would lose the task at hand, which is first and foremost, what do I got to do to win this game? And hopefully I can get balls like that up in the air and get a double like Fedorovich did as well. I mean, he did a good job right there getting on top of that ball and driving it to left field.
So that was attention paid to by fans and media and not by you guys.
But there, like I said, a little bit in the back, you're like, all right, there was just, it was the last final thing on your thought that, okay,
you couldn't help but notice.
Right, you can't, because you got asked that question every time you were going up against them. And we had, amongst us, when we had such a mutual respect amongst each other, and you're like, all right, they're talking about it. You want to be considered one of the best at that position and go out there and perform.
And the name sounded so good, like a law firm. Jeter, Nomar, and A-Rod, or Nomar, Jeter, and A-Rod. Whatever it was, there was a flow to the 3 of you guys, whether you liked it or not. You guys, were the head of the class for a decade.
It makes it easier when they're each 2 syllables and names like that.
Who was the guy when you went up, Oral, against somebody where you go, okay.
So many good pitchers, and I wasn't on the top, the top rung all the time for a long, long time. But there were so many good guys out there. I'd say Dwight Gooden. But I paired Dwight Gooden with Fernando a lot of times. They had a duel in the sun where they both walked the bases loaded in the first inning and both went on to strike out the side. They did so many of those kind of duels.
And now Figgins with Fedorovich at second and 2 out. And those 2 guys went about their business in polar opposite ways.
For sure. Dwight with the fastball curveball and Fernando with the fastball screwball, and then sneak in the curveball every once in a while.
Dodgers 6-2 with 2 out in the 6th. Figgins is 0 for 3, giving Gordon the night off, and takes inside.
The year of the Cy Young, '88, it was up against the Cincinnati native at the time and player here, Danny Jackson. And Danny had a great year. And then just September was just a little stronger than his September, so it worked out. The votes went my way, but he had an amazing year that year.
2-0 to Figgins. And then Andrusek wiping some perspiration out of his eye. And Figgins digging back into the box. Sean at 241. And now Pena at 6 inches shorter. And 6'9" Logan Andrusek trying to finish out the Dodgers here in the 6th. Figgins a much better hitter from the left side than he is from the right. 281 as compared to 211. 4-pitch walk. And that brings up Ramirez.
A very mature walk also, with 2 out and a man on second. You got a chance to drive that run in, and Sean Figgins has already taken an offer with 2 strikeouts to that point, and he's just content to get the on-base percentage up and to get over to first base.
Well, knows his role. He was like, I'm the leadoff hitter. I got look at the bats hitting behind me. A guy in Hanley Ramirez, Yasiel Puig, Matt Kemp. I'm supposed to be getting on and let those guys drive me in.
Well, now it's up to Ramirez. 1 for 3 tonight. Outside and low, 1 ball, no strikes.
So Sean was talking about how it's just great to be with an organization that appreciates that they see how he works the count, even on the nights when he's going to take his 0 for, like right now, if the game ended, he'd be 0 for 3 with 1 walk.
Ramirez is just 1 for 5 against Andrewsik. Puig on deck. The Dodgers lead by 4. And I'm not sure I want to be exactly where Lorenzo Bundy is standing at the moment. Bundy's got to be about 45 feet away from Hanley Ramirez.
Well, he's hoping right there at that angle that Hanley isn't really out in front of a ball to pull it. I mean, that's a tough angle, but I've seen it happen before, guys, being able to pull the ball there. But
Bundy with a close eye on Fedorovich leading off second.
I remember the years where they really enforced the coach's box, but they have gone by way of putting helmets on them and letting them stand where they want now. And I guess the lines are just for beauty.
Yeah, the coaching box looks like a seesaw. Chopper to third. Santiago throws him out. That'll end the inning. No runs a hit. The double by Fedorovich. 2 men left after 5 1/2. Aaron and the Dodgers lead 6-2. Search of his 6th win. Come on out to Blue Heaven on Earth, Dodger Stadium, this Saturday night. It's Tommy Lasorda bobblehead night. The first 50,000 fans in attendance take home a mini Brooklyn throwback Tommy for their collection compliments of State Farm. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions. Dan Herron has retired 6 straight after the Ludwig home run to lead off the 4th. As we go to the bottom of the 6th, here is Brandon Phillips. Phillips is 1 for 2. The Dodgers are 20-12 away from Dodger Stadium. They're tied with the Giants for best road record. Dodgers, of course, have had difficulty at home, 6 games under 500. But they've been road warriors of late, winning 2 of 3, still kicking themselves, losing that 10-inning game the other day in Colorado. And Phillips pops it up. Sean Figgins taking charge. 1 gone.
Dan Herron has had 12 outings prior to this one. 11 of them he's gone 6 innings or more. And if last inning was the shutdown inning, this inning is the inning that cements a really good outing and really verifies that he's back on the beam. The last 3 or 4 starts have not been the best. He's struggled through them, but here he's made some good adjustments today, changed his arsenal a little bit and gone to more curveballs and split fingers, and has negotiated his way through this outing very well so far.
And has retired the last 7 batters in succession. Jay Bruce squaring to bunt. The Dodgers have the shift on, and so Hanley Ramirez is the only fielder on the left side, and so Bruce is tempted to bunt for a hit. 1 ball, 1 strike. The hitter that you were, if they put a shift on for you, would you be inclined to lay one down?
No, I'll tell you, the first time, I remember the Oakland A's did that to me. It made me go, oh, I can control the bat. I should hit it to right. I can do this. And I got out. I got out because I was thinking. The next day, I said, you know what? I just got to swing it. It's taking me out of my game because I'm worried about it. And next thing you know, I'm pulling it and I'm getting my base hits and doing it. It's like, you know what? You just got to get it out of your mind and stay within your game.
Here's a 2-1. Bruce takes inside.
The only time I would think about it, if I would lay one down, if they decided to give me a shift like this and I was leading off the inning, because I believe I'm supposed to be, I'm a leadoff hitter now. I'm supposed to get on. That's when I can lay one down.
So in this situation, that would make sense if you're leading off.
If I'm leading off. If I'm not, then, you know, I don't. If there's one out, I'm thinking about getting a gap. I'm thinking about I can hit myself into scoring position.
3-2 with 1 out to Jay Bruce, who's 0 for 2 tonight.
What's the difference between leading off and down by 4 and you can't hit a 4-run homer?
Good question.
You know,
because this rally, if the Reds are going to get a rally,
they need to get on base.
Get on base.
Right. You're exactly right. But it's still, when I look at the middle of the inning that we're on right now, I still got to get into position. It's still going to take 3 or 4 hits to knock me in. I mean, 2 to 3 hits to knock me in, as compared to I can get an extra base hit. I could possibly, if I have the power, and especially in a small ballpark, I could possibly hit one out.
Right.
I just need 1 run. I just need 1 run. That's all I'm thinking about. So.
Talk about situational hitting.
It's only different, and they wouldn't put the shift on if I was, if you're a guy that can lay one down and can steal a bases a whole lot, whatever. But if you're not that guy,
right,
you're trying to get the second.
You hit the ball awfully hard too. I bet you would have hit it right through shifts. You're not the kind of hitter that you like. The big left-handed hitters, let's say like a David Ortiz, who rolls over a lot of ground balls and or hits those 2-3 hop hard ground balls. He seems to hit a lot of balls to the second baseman that's deep into right field.
Yeah, and the other thing they do, the shift on guys like David Ortiz and a guy like Jay Bruce, is if he wants to bunt or if he wants to go the other way, thank you. You're doing me a favor, because I don't have to worry about you hitting out of the ballpark.
Second walk of the game given up by Herron. Bruce is at first, and Ludwig is coming up. Ludwig, a 342-foot home run that just snuck over the wall in his last at-bat, as Rick Honeycutt is going to come out and take Herron's temperature.
It's funny, we're talking about the shift. I remember the first time, like in the big leagues, when I was moved over, it's behind second or from short, to put the shift on. And the batter, it was Ken Griffey Jr. And we play that. Yeah, a little bit, right? And then I remember him kind of squaring around, checking like he was going to bunt or do that, and a couple of times. And I thought to myself, thank you. It's funny. I even was like, wow, thank you, because I'm used to having my neck turn around and watch how far you hit it.
J.P. Howell beginning to warm. That's Chuck Krim, the bullpen coach, standing behind him with the clipboard. So Ludwig hit his 5th home run of the year, knocked in his 19th in his last at-bat.
Well, J.P. Howell is up because Bryant Pena, who's on deck, hits 194 versus lefties and 280 versus righties. He's a switch hitter, but the stronger side this year is when he's facing a right-hander.
Cozart a right-hander after Pena, and Lutz a left-handed hitter after that. So it's 2 balls and no strikes to Ryan Ludwig.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's ball 3 right here. It should get a visit from FedEx as a delay tactic to make sure J.P. Howell gets ready, because they don't want this to happen too quickly and not have him hot.
There's a strike. Ryan Ludwig, now 35, and in his 10th big league season. Came up with the Rangers, into the Indians, Cardinals, Padres, Pirates, and now the Reds. And he takes a strike, and it's 2-2.
And some fans might think, Rick Honeycutt and Don Mattingly are asleep. Why didn't they have J.P. Howell up earlier? Well, you're doing everything you can to wait as long as possible before you get somebody up, because getting somebody up at the correct time, not wasting it up, you might need him in the 8th instead of now. You do everything you can to time it up perfectly so that your bullpens get up, get in, or get up and don't get in, and you don't need them anymore.
Single to left, first and second, 1 out. That was Herron's 94th pitch. It may well have been his last, as Honeycutt goes to the bullpen phone. Is Howell ready? JP, you ready? They're buying time. You sure? Hang on, the boss wants to know.
Well, they want him because Rick wouldn't be on the phone at that last moment. If they were going to give him this hitter and there wasn't a decision to be made, Don's looking.
Mattingly is now, what was he saying?
I don't know. Is maybe J.P. Howell not ready yet? Is that
1 ball and no strikes?
Well, he's going to trust Dan Herron with Pena, but I'll guarantee he's on the edge. This is one of those 50-50s.
You see Brian Pena, the switch hitter. And the Dodgers are doing everything to kill time. Herron at 95 pitches, 55 of them for strikes. He has struck out 2, he has walked 2, and the Dodgers lead by 4. And now here comes Mattingly. Well, they bought Howell a little bit more time. And thank you and good night. So they'll turn Pena around with first and second, 1 out. Herron leaves the game. He can only win it. He can't lose it. First game of the season until this, the 65th of the year. Howell has been the most consistent reliever out of the bullpen. An ERA of 171. Opposing hitters hitting well under 200 against him. 2-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. Dan Herron goes 5 1/3, 2 runs and 5 hits. 2 strikeouts, 2 walks, 95 pitches, 55 for strikes. Can only win this game, but the Dodger bullpen now has to come up with the goods. With Bruce at second and Ludwig at first. Pena is turned around, and as Orel said, he's not quite the hitter from the right-hand side as he is from the left by nearly 100 points. 280 to 194. Howell inherits the 1-0 count. Pena turned around. 2 balls and no strikes. Dodger bullpen in the month of June, a far sight better than it was in May, as Brandon Lee now warming up. Dodger bullpen ERA 1.15 in June. 2 earned runs in 15 2/3 innings. Pena to second base. Figgins, Ramirez, Romack. What a job by J.P. Howell. Boy, he made it look easy, didn't he? No runs, 1 hit, 1 left. Will go to the 7th. Dodgers and Dan Herron have a 6-2 lead. Dodgers take a 6-2 lead into the top half of the 7th inning. J.P. Howell comes in and promptly gets Brian Pena to bounce into a 4-6-3 double play, needing 1 pitch to get 2 outs. That's your 2 strikes.
You come in with a 1-0 count, you throw the first pitch ball, make it 2-0, and now you're thinking, I'm going to need my defense. And the infield defense came through, got the ground ball, and they turned it.
So the Reds, who have struggled all year scoring runs, get a little threat going, and Hal gets out of the trouble. Here's Yasiel Puig, who's 1 for 2. A walk and a run scored. Matt Kemp and Scott Van Slyke to follow. Puig swings and misses, and it's 0-1. So J.P. Howell on a 1-0 count turns the switch hitter Brian Pena around. Pena hitting about 100 points less from the right side than he is from the left. And Mattingly and his strategy pay off. Pena bounces into an inning-ending double play. Puig and Kemp and Van Slyke to bat for the Dodgers here in the 7th. First of a 4-game series. Back with you tomorrow. First pitch about 10 past 4 West Coast time as Puig fouls it off. Bad weather on the horizon, however. Beckett and Leake scheduled to pitch tomorrow. On Wednesday, Hyun-Jin Ryu and Johnny Cueto. Thursday, 9:35 in the morning Pacific time, Greinke and Alfredo Simon. And then the Dodgers fly home. Weekend series with the Diamondbacks, and next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday the Rockies are in town. Santiago makes it closer than it should have been. Well, Puig showing no ill effects of the hip malady that sidelined him the other day.
He was getting down that line. And no ill effects after that awkward slide he had earlier today.
Matt Kemp. His 2 hits against Andrusik have left the yard. 1 ball, no strikes to Matt Kemp. In the first inning, he bounced into a double play. And he doubled to left in the 4th inning. He came around to score. He would walk in the 5th inning. So he scored 2 runs tonight, Kemp has. It was 2-0.
And to me, he just looks so much more engaged. It's the lazy break out of the box in Colorado, where then we had the phantom double/single. To the accountability he took for that lack of hustle, and then the intensity he brought the next day. He's carried that into these next couple days in every at bat.
And we talked about that at the beginning of the game, how I've been so impressed over his last 2 games with the hustle, with his confidence, with his comfort at the plate. He's playing with a lot of confidence out there in left field as well. I mean, over the series in Colorado, he made some fine plays out there.
See, that shake of the head right there, that's not a moping, I'm down on myself shake of the head. That's more like, I'm confident, I'm locked in, I just shouldn't have swung at that pitch.
Right.
It's 3-1. It's 3-2.
And what I've noticed too, from Colorado to even today, to the double that he did have, he's not forcing it, always trying to go the other way, staying inside, which is a good approach, which is the approach you're supposed to have thinking. But at the same time, if you're able to turn on it and get the barrel out, go ahead. And he did that. I mean, his double today was a high fastball that he got on top of.
And he waffled it into the left field corner. And grounds hard to Cozart. He throws him out easily, 2 out. In the 2nd inning, Scott Van Slyke did a home run. And then in the 5th, he hit another. Last Dodger with 3 home runs in a game, Juan Uribe. That was against Arizona last September. And for Van Slyke, this is a career high. 4 runs batted into them.
Well, on that pitch right there, he looked like he wanted to be the next Dodger with 3 home runs. He just missed it.
And the Reds have the shift on for him. He breaks his bat and bloops one into right.
And that's a beautiful thing right there. You have 2 home runs. Although you're a little upset because you're like, oh, that bat felt really good. I hit 2 home runs, and then I ended up breaking it. But it went down to champion. I got a knock. I'm throwing that bat in with my other ones just so they can talk to each other to see how you're supposed to hit the ball.
I don't know who you are anymore.
Oh, my gosh.
What, do you have a little funeral ceremony?
Hey, that was a good bat. It has 2 home runs in it. That's a good bat.
He puts the broken bat in with the other
just
in the travel bag so they can just
for a little
talk.
while. Just to let them know, hey, listen, this is how you're supposed to do it.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm just telling you how it works.
Pitchers at times
worked for me for a long time.
might not seem like athletes to you, but hitters are definitely not grown-ups.
What does that have to do with grown-ups? I mean, hey, just go talk to it. You know,
it's not bad if you talk to it. The problem is when you hear back from it.
Exactly. If
that's
an
issue.
That's the day he misses his meds.
Every once in a while they talk back to me, but anyway.
Justin Turner a strike. Nothing in 2.
Yeah, one time it talked back to me, just once. Just asked the bat what it was doing, and they said, "Have you looked in the mirror?" And I'm like, "Yeah, it's got a good point. It's my fault, not the bat's fault."
Oh boy.
No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 6-2. The Dodgers with the lead. Andrusek strikes out Turner for the 2nd time tonight. 4 strikeouts for Logan Andrusek. And we have arrived at the 7th inning stretch. And Van Slyke has driven in 4 of those 6 runs tonight. Cincinnati on this Monday night, the first of a 4-game series. Home of the mythical WKRP, Les Nessman. And the real and literal J.P. Howell came in, threw 2 pitches to induce Brian Pena to bounce into an inning-ending double play in the 6th. Begins the 7th, Zach Cozart, who is 1 for 2 tonight. 1 ball, no strikes. Chris Heisey in the on-deck circle, and he will pinch hit for Andrusek. 2-0. The lefty Sean Marshall is warming up in the Reds bullpen, and so he will be next to the hill for manager Brian Price. 2 balls and 1 strike. Cozart at 223. The Reds had 2 of the great shortstops of this generation, David Concepcion and Brian Larkin. But since Larkin, they've been looking for somebody to call that position their own. Cozart is the latest, trying to fill in the blank there. there are some teams, for whatever reason, that just can't fill a position historically. The old Brooklyn Dodgers had a left fielder every year, a different one. And the Dodgers, really since Adrian Beltre left town, have been looking for that guy. Uribe's done a nice job the last couple of years, but there have been a ton of them that have come and gone since Beltre went to Texas. Seattle first, then Texas. Two balls and two strikes, and the Reds trying to find their next permanent guy at that's such an important position. So it's 3-2 to Cozart, beginning the bottom of the seventh. The Dodgers lead 6-2. And Cozart with a ground ball to his left. Hanley Ramirez picks it up, 1 out. One of the baseball axioms, I wonder if either of you subscribe to it. You play the first 6 innings and then you manage the last 9 outs.
Yeah, I believe that the game today is played that way. Very much so. That's the way the rosters are designed. That's why we don't see 9 and 10-man pitching staffs anymore. Usually the minimum is 11, and we've seen as many as 13. That means there's a lot of specialists.
And leaves you 4 bench players. Now here's Heisey taking outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
The specialist right-handed pinch hitter or left-handed pinch hitter that teams used to carry now is more a left-handed reliever or right-handed reliever.
Looking for that 1 out or 2, depending on the opposing batting order.
Right. And your bench players are more guys that not necessarily hit for high average or not necessarily have power, but are able to play multiple positions.
And it also depends on how good your offense is, where you don't necessarily need the pinch hitter.
And statistics are so valuable, I think, nowadays for the offensive players that they don't want to come out of the game. So you don't use bench players as much just to rest your regulars. You know, after the 7th, they were up by 8-2. You don't see guys coming out. They want that last at bat for to polish off those numbers.
Heisey takes a walk. 1 out and 1 on. And Ramon Santiago coming up. Santiago came in part of a double switch in the 5th. And he tried to bunt for a base hit, and Herron would toss him out.
Your generation, Nomar, were you at a certain point in your career where the manager would come to you in 6th inning and go, hey, I'm going to get you out of this one. We're up 10-1.
They would come to me, and it depended on how I was feeling. If I was feeling good at the plate, and I'm like, okay, yeah, no problem. If I was like, you know what, give me 1 more at bat, or I'm not feeling good and I'm trying to find it, it depends.
But your glove was so good, you're taking a whole lot of your offense and defense.
A lot of times what it was is to just, okay, you're playing every day. This is the chance I get to get you some rest, because I don't plan on giving you a day off anytime soon. Here's the time.
So you'd negotiate more. Okay, I'll take these 2 innings off because I don't want any off days.
Correct.
0-1 to Santiago.
And as we mentioned, we just came from a place from Colorado. The team just came, and that was a place where my manager said, I'm not taking you out because no lead is safe. You're going to stay in there.
1 ball, 1 strike.
What's the difference between playing on the natural grass compared to the artificial turf? When they say, I want to get you off your feet for a day, we hear that a lot out of managers.
Yeah, on that turf, you really feel it when you leave. After you go into the 3 games, like your hamstrings, your lower back, there's things that you just start to feel, because you don't realize as you're running on how much you're really grabbing more, the traction you get.
Almost like you were doing an exercise and using different muscles.
Right.
So you got new muscles that are being engaged because one turf compared to the other turf.
That's exactly right. And you know, some turf is harder, so you're feeling the pounding on it, so it's not as soft as grass or as dirt on your body. But like I said, as you're really running down on it, your hamstrings, if they're pulling a little bit more because your cleats are grabbing that AstroTurf or the synthetic turf so well.
Santiago on 2-1. And you had Toronto, Kansas City, I guess, early on, or had they already?
No, they had. When I first came, they had changed it.
Seattle.
It was Minnesota, Minnesota, Seattle, Toronto, Tampa.
Yeah.
Guys like Scott Rowland, it was like they almost avoided the whole series. Some certain players that they knew they were going on the DL if they let them play on the artificial stuff.
Well, I was actually there where I was thinking. I was with Phillies. Veterans Day was another one when I played in that.
And the turfs were a lot worse in my day. They started to improve as they went, but guys were really getting beat up. And there was a lot of soft spots in different places like the Houston Astrodome, Montreal Olympic Stadium.
At Montreal, I played in Montreal. That's another one. And you know, it's amazing too. As the infielder, you're going, okay, I'm always going to get a good hop. You're on turf. Some of those places know because of the way the seams were in those turf. And you know, we saw here, we thought Santiago thought that was a ball, but as you can see there in the K zone there, they come back. That's a strike.
I remember the Veterans Stadium. The groundskeeper said this has all the give of a pool table. Into right field for a base hit. First and second, one out. And Billy Hamilton is coming up.
This is getting interesting right now, this inning for J.P. Howell. Because Billy Hamilton happens to get himself on or add to this rally. You're getting to the heart of the order of the Reds.
Hamilton tonight, hitless in 3 at-bats. Bounce to second, bounce to short, and fly to right. Dodgers lead is 4. If Hamilton gets on, Frazier, you just saw awaiting on deck, would be the tying run. No balls and a strike. Hamilton, as a right-handed batter, is about 100 points south of what he's hitting from the left side. As a left-handed hitter, 280. From the right side, he's hitting 176. Dodgers pinched the corners in. And it's 1-1.
J.P. Howell's statistics are so good against lefties and righties. Left-handers hitting 188, right-handers hitting 167, so it's not like he needs a lot of help to get through innings.
To third. There's 1 and 2. Billy Hamilton. Double play. 5, 4, 3. Turner, Figgins, and Romack. What a play on one of the fastest players in the game. And lots of work for the Dodgers and for those of us here at Sportsnet LA. And here's the calendar, a look ahead brought to you by 76. Back with you tomorrow at 4 o'clock Pacific, Wednesday as well, Thursday morning at 9:30, and then the Dodgers will be home for the weekend with the Arizona Diamondbacks. The lefty Sean Marshall now on in relief, making his 14th appearance. At a hefty ERA, and opponents have feasted against his pitching to the tune of .379. Jamie Romack leads it off and takes outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Fedorovich on deck. Romack 0 for 3 and takes inside. 2 balls and no strikes. There's Fedorovich. The Dodgers have out-hit the Reds 9-6 and lead them by 4. 2-1. Dodgers took 2 of 3 a couple of weeks ago back at Dodger Stadium from the Reds. Last year, the Reds won the season series 4-3. But here at the Great American Ballpark since 2003, the Dodgers are 22-16 against Cincinnati. Romack making his starting debut at first base tonight. Adrian Gonzalez the night off. On 2-2. They check his swing. Yes, says first base umpire Jim Reynolds. He's the crew chief. $31,915. 2,500 more than what the Reds normally average with the Dodgers in town. Here's a 3-2. Outside ball 4. So Romack walks, a leadoff walk in the 8th. In case you're wondering how often Billy Hamilton has bounced into a double play in his big league career, this is Pena bounced into the double play. And then Billy Hamilton, first time he has ever bounced into a double play in his big league career. 5-4-3, went the long way home. So now Fedorovich rounds it foul.
The Dodgers had a few things on that double play going for them. One, they're playing in on Billy Hamilton because you got to try to take away the bunt. 2, he hits a hard ball to third baseman, and you know they all got rid of it so quickly. When I watched Sean Biggins turn it at second base, he got a little bit extra on it, knowing that we have Billy Hamilton running down the line.
And also reminiscent of when Hamilton bounced to short in the 3rd inning. Hanley Ramirez picked it up and fired a rocket over to Romack. Into right, slicing, and a nice catch by Bruce. And now Miguel Rojas is going to pinch hit for J.P. Howell. And Howell does a terrific job in relief. An inning and 2/3. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 walk. So here's Miguel Rojas. A short lead for Romack. Backhanded at 3rd. There's 1. And not in time. Rojas beats the throw. Frazier thought he might have had the double play. Let's take a look.
Well, this was who turned this so quickly was at second base. Watch Brandon Phillips, how quickly he gets rid of that ball. And that short hop over there, good job by Miguel Rojas getting out of the box, hustling down the first base line.
Brian Price is talking with Jim Reynolds, and I guess he's got the thumbs up from Jay Bell, and so they're going to have a replay. That's the home plate umpire Brian Knight, who will join the crew chief in conference with the fellas in New York. The crowd reaction here at the Great American Ballpark. Ooh. Photo finish.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
And since it's a tough one, and they already called him safe, I think he's going to stay safe.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see.
It is so close.
Obviously, if you're a Reds fan, you're going, he's out. Come on. If you're a Dodger fan, you're like, he just beat it.
So the umpires put the headsets on and they get a good long listen. You say potato.
Right. And they just keep showing it over and over again here at the stadium up on that nice high def screen they have here.
Most of the replay challenges have taken about 90 seconds. Well, that's what they're seeing on the scoreboard.
This is exactly what they keep showing.
Well, it's supposed to be irrefutable. And so Brian Knight and Jim Reynolds are just listening.
And there is no such thing as the tie goes to the runner. It doesn't exist. On that angle right there, because he's called safe on the field, I believe they're going to leave him safe.
Here we go. And the answer is safe. So after all that, a force out. But lost in the couple of minutes of watching the replay. Again, the play of the second baseman, Brandon Phillips. How he was able to make the throw on the pivot. Again, about the only thing that separated out and safe was the throw, the short hop throw. But even so, you get that kind of mustard on that throw on the pivot. Phillips heartbroken by the call. Here's Figgins. Sean tonight is 0 for 3 and a walk. And Hanley Ramirez on deck. The Dodgers with a run in the first, 2 in the fourth, and 3 in the fifth. Lead at 6-2. Big night for Scott Van Slyke, who has a career-high 3 hits, 2 home runs, and 4 runs batted in. All in all, not a bad night for Andy's kid. One and one to Figgins. Chopped to short. Cozart throws him out, and that ends the inning. No runs, no hits, a walk, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the 8th, and the Dodgers lead it 6-2. On in relief. And League, who had a nightmare of a year last year, early part of the season, was struggling. But, boy, since April 16th, he's not allowed an earned run in 20 of his last 21 appearances. An ERA of 101, 3 earned runs in 26 at 2/3 innings. A mechanical tweak here and there. And he's good as new, Laurel.
Yeah, they changed his alignment a little bit, and they've gotten more keeping the ball down, not worrying about it, the width, the inside or the outside corner. And boy, his confidence has had a remake too with the success that he's had, and now he looks pretty bulletproof out there mentally.
And Miguel Rojas takes over at third base for Justin Turner, who had a good night tonight.
Now they put Miguel over at short. Justin Turner still in, put him at shortstop. Yep.
Ramirez is out. There's Turner at third. And excuse me, swing for Frazier. Thank you, sir. We're beginning to see that a little more from Don Mattingly. Defensive change at shortstop in particular over the past week or so.
I think that it has been good for Hanley to know that that's a possibility, and I think it maybe changed a little bit of his concentration. We've seen a little bit more energy from him out there on defense. You know, he had the error in Colorado. He had a nice clean game here tonight. And maybe a little bit of that rest will help him in the next day offensively, get his legs a little fresher. He's enjoyed hitting in the 2-hole so far, so the changes have been good for Hanley,
who was 1 for 4 tonight. And the home run in Colorado still traveling. Well, that's the last thing on earth that League wanted to do, a leadoff walk to Frazier here in the 8th. Now Brandon Phillips coming up. Phillips tonight bounced to short, single to center, and popped to second. Dodgers 6 runs, 9 hits. They've left 7. The Reds 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error, and they've left 5. Uncharacteristic for the Reds to have made an error tonight. Just their 27th of the year. It's the fewest errors in Major League Baseball and the highest fielding percentage. And we've seen Phillips make a couple of sparkling plays tonight at his spot where he's won the Gold Glove 4 times in his career. Nothing in 2.
This little split finger right there started him off with a 95-mile-an-hour sinking fastball that didn't sink that much at 95. It tailed in on him. Looked like Brandon was taking all away, but Brandon unleashing the swing right there got something 9-mile-an-hour slower with a little bite.
So League ahead 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Brandon Phillips, a career .271 hitter. Each of the last 4 years, he's hit 18 home runs. Career high in 2007, he hit 30. Rojas can't get it. First and second, nobody out.
Brandon taking this ball right back up the middle, and Rojas just misses this ball. Great effort by Miguel Rojas, and it just out of his reach.
So here comes Jay Bruce. 0 for 2 and a walk tonight. Bruce gets on. Ludwig's a tying run at the plate. This is the first time Bruce has faced League. It's a strike, 0-1. Here's Brian Wilson. Bruce with 4 home runs, 20 runs batted in. 1 ball, 1 strike. So the leadoff walk to Todd Frazier, who's at second base. Brandon Phillips at first. And the Reds have a bit of a rally going here in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Dodgers play Bruce to pull, infield Anaheim. Fouls it off his foot.
Nomar, with this alignment, is a little odd as a shortstop receiving the ball from Turner on the double play, or even Figgins because of the angle you're coming to the bag.
That's with Miguel right behind there. You're letting him know that he's got it, that the shortstop's going to get it, because there's no way Sean Figgins can get it there. So you as short have everything.
And that's a tough angle to receive a throw and then go to first.
Well, if you're playing the shift, you obviously don't anticipate the ball being hit to third. If he happens to hit it to third, it depends on how hard. You're usually thinking, okay, let's just make sure of that one. That's your first thought. You know, if you can actually get yourself in a decent position, because you're right, that is a tough angle, then you think about 2, but 1 has to be on your mind.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Bruce. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Bruce. The League is digging himself a hole here.
His ball has been running a lot today instead of going down. That tells me that the arm is a little late. Ball's kind of flat and the arm's coming through late. So got to get the body slowed down and the arm out front.
3-2. Bases are loaded. Nobody out. Federovich coming out. Mattingly staying put. And here is Ryan Ludwig, who had a home run in the 4th inning.
Ball that was kind of really hit in a way that this ballpark played to it well. It was a big arcing long fly ball. Most ballparks it's just one of those majestic outs, but here it creeped over the wall.
Traveled all of 342 feet. Ludwig is the tying run, and League is having trouble finding the plate.
Now that pitch right there tells me he's searching for something. He's in his tool belt right now trying to fix the mechanics and find some location, but he is not feeling locked in. He's running through the inventory of how to fix his delivery and throw some strikes.
1 ball and no strikes. Comebacker. There's 1 and 2. A 1-2-3 double play. Now runners at second and third and 2 out.
It's a good example of just keeping the ball down and not worrying about if it's inside or outside when you're struggling. He has very good movement. He keeps it down by the knees. He gets a check swing, as Ludwig wasn't sure there was going to be a strike, and then Brandon League does not panic when he gets the ball back to him. Takes plenty of time just to soft toss it into FedEx, and FedEx has got all kinds of time to step into fair territory, create the angle, and throw the bullet down to first to get the double play.
And League can exhale. Second and third, 2 out. And Ryan Pena, who bounced into a double play in his last at-bat. So now there's 2 out and 2 on. Pena has singled and scored a run. Phillips at third, Bruce is at second, and League delivers. High chopper to short. Rojas will throw out Pena, and Lee gets into and out of trouble. And the home folks aren't happy. No runs, 1 hit, 2 left. We go to the 9th. Dodgers lead it 6-2. At bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Dodgers.com today. So Lee gets into trouble and gets out of trouble.
He did an outstanding job. I'll tell you what, the bullpen has used the double play to get through some traffic. J.P. Howell came in with a 1-0 count for Dan Herron as a starter and ended up getting a double play to get out of that inning. And we double up Billy Hamilton the next inning. And then Brandon Lee dug himself a hole and dug himself right out with some ground balls.
And I think he had got a favor out of Brian Ludwig going after that pitch, helped him out. But I'll tell you, here's a good sign. D. Gordon coming up to the plate. So hopefully that's signs that he is feeling better.
Batting for League, takes high and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Mattingly telling the scrum before the game today that he could have started Gordon today, but one of the things Donnie, who learned at the knee of Joe Torre, if somebody is back and ready to go, he'll wait an extra day. And again, you had the left-handed starter go on tonight in Cingrani, and so it was a perfect night to give Gordon the extra day. So here he is pinch hitting, 1 ball, 1 strike. And it's now 1-2.
Usually guys get days off for an accumulation of reasons, not just one reason. You know, like Adrian Gonzalez, rest, slump, left-hander, got in late last night. And all of a sudden, day off.
Here's the 1-2. Slapped foul into the Dodger dugout.
And I think D was like, here, let me wake you guys up over there in the dugout. As we can see, we got Kenley Jansen and Mahalam warming up over there in the bullpen.
We'll see how the 9th inning plays out. See who comes in the bottom of the 9th. And the 1-2. Fouled off to the left and out of play.
There's a lot of theories with those two guys up. You could say it's Kenley if it stays at 4 runs, and I know it's not a save, but they'd like to, in this ballpark, go with the big fella. Or it's Kenley no matter what, and Paul Mahalam is just getting some work in. Just have to wait and see.
Cozart throws out Gordon. No, he doesn't either.
Whether he's out or safe or they review it or not, we know the hip is feeling pretty good.
I was watching him all the way down the line. I mean, that was such a good sign that he was right out of the box, and he beats that. I mean, that's just a base hit. I mean, we talked about Billy Hamilton. We watched the way our infielders played over there. The Dodgers going over there. You got to come in and play against them, and they have to do the same thing against D. Gordon. And hustling down the line.
No argument.
I'll tell you what, Jim Reynolds has had some close plays over there at first base, hasn't he?
Well, again, a good sign. There is no sign of a limp whatsoever as Gordon sped down to first base. So here is Gordon leading off first. Puig is 1 for 4 and a run scored, and he fouls it off to the right and out of play. D. Gordon with 36 stolen bases. Billy Hamilton tonight is 0 for 4. He's second in the stolen base category. To Gordon, 1 ball and 1 strike to Puig.
Hang a star on the Dodger infield defense tonight with the double plays that got the relievers out of the way. The ball that Hanley Ramirez played when Billy Hamilton hit the ground ball in the 3rd inning and got him out, bang bang. Tighten it up there in the infield.
Yeah, and the Dodgers turned double plays in the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings. To right, slicing toward the corner, and Bruce runs out of room. In the 7th inning tonight, we saw something that's never been done before. Billy Hamilton bouncing into a double play. First time in his career. Be an interesting foot race, wouldn't it? Hamilton and Gordon.
It would be. I don't know if I could call it. Right now, statistically, you'd have to say maybe D. The on-base percentage might be the wire.
Puig takes a call, 3rd strike, first out of the 9th. J.J. Hoover, the 4th Red pitcher of the night.
And this was just a good pitch by Hoover on the outside corner, and Puig knew it too. He didn't really argue. He was kind of nodding his head, and he's just like, sometimes you got to tip your hat to the pitcher. So that was a perfect pitch.
1 out, 1 on, and Kemp is the hitter. Kemp has a double, a walk, and 2 runs scored tonight. Dodgers have never trailed in this game. Each team scored a run in the 2nd. Van Slyke with 2 home runs, 3 hits, and 4 runs batted in. Statistically, for Van Slyke, this is the best night of his career. There goes Gordon. There's a throw. Out! D says no.
Don Manley's going to have to come out for that one. And
the only way he's out on this one is if as he's sliding, he's not reaching for the bag, because he is definitely beyond the tag. The tag has got to be on his back or his backside.
Tim Wallach on the phone to the tape room, and this is what they see.
And he's out.
Yep.
Yep.
I'll tell you what, that was such a quick tag by Brandy Phillips. I mean, it really was. I think D was a little surprised. He's like, wait, you tagged me up here. I got my hand in there, but that was such a quick tag.
Just the 5th time this year in 41 tries Gordon is caught stealing. Brian Pena guns him down. And Kemp is on base for the 3rd time tonight, his 2nd walk. That'll bring up Scott Van Slyke. It's been his night. A 439-foot home run in the 2nd inning. A 3-run blast in the 5th. He's also singled to right. Scored 3, knocked in 4. And lifted his average to 278. Van Slyke came into the game with 7 runs batted in on the season. 4 tonight. Of course, so much was made about the 4 outfielders into 3. And Van Slyke is saying, hey, wait a second. I'm part of the group now.
He's been saying that since spring training. I mean, he really had a good spring. He's kind of forced them to say, put me on this club, and all the way this entire season. I mean, he gets very overlooked because of the other 4 guys, but
well, he has to play now with what he's done against lefties. So a left-handed starter between now and September 1st is probably going to be in there.
And Carl Crawford is about a week or so away from coming off the DL with his ankle. And there's Andre Ethier, who has struggled against left-handed pitching. Matt Kemp, until the last week or so, has struggled against lefties. 3-0 to Van Slyke. And a 4-pitch walk. Quite a night for Van Slyke. He's been on base all 5 times tonight. 3 hits and 2 walks. 2 home runs, 4 runs batted in. And Jeff Pico is going to come out and talk to Hoover. And Turner will bat when the conference concludes. So Dan Herron turned in a solid 5 1/3 tonight. Couple of runs, 5 hits, 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. Certainly a far sight better than he's been over the last half-dozen starts. Howell came in, did a great job in relief. Lee got out of a bases loaded no out situation. A lot of it his own doing, but he also got out of it on his own. And the Dodgers have come up with 6 runs and 10 hits. Which coincidentally is about what they average in victories. They get about 6 runs and 10 hits when they win, and about 4 runs and 7 hits when they lose. Now they can 1 to Turner, who's 0 for 2 and has been struck out twice, and he looped a single to right to drive in a run back in the 4th. 1 ball, 1 strike. So what are your takeaways from what we have seen through 8+ innings tonight?
A little bit of frustration, a little bit of feeling good. Frustration, we haven't played like this all year, and feeling good that maybe they can start to duplicate this. Other than the extra inning loss in Colorado, they'd be on quite a roll.
And defensively, I liked what they did.
Yep.
What I like their approach at the plate, recognizing you have a pitcher up there who's having trouble with his off speed, looking for the fastballs in Cingrani, taking advantage of that. So I like the adjustments they've made over the course of the game.
I think from 10,000 feet, there's some pieces that are different than most of the season, where we've got new defender in center field, new defender in left field. Batting order has been altered a little bit. Hanley's out of the 3rd hole. Puig's not at the top of the order. He's in the 3 hole when healthy. And the defense is starting to get secure. The rotation, since Paul Maholm has been moved out of it, is starting to really function on a daily basis. Bullpen's in order. Things are looking better.
A bloop into short center, and it's Cozart retrieving. No runs, no hits. Correction, 1 hit, 2 walks, and 2 men left. Last licks for the Reds. We go to the bottom of for the 9th inning. A lot different when he is in the save situation as opposed to the non-save situation. Is that just statistical gobbledygook? Is there more to it than that?
I think there's definitely more to it than that. I think there's an adrenaline rush that they miss. They understand. The other thing against them is usually when they get the inning in the non-save situation, it's because they've been off for a while. So there's some cobwebs and rhythm issues. And so I think, and the opposing team, they just kind of feast a little bit differently up there. They know the closer's coming in and he's just getting his work, and the hitters are a little bit more confident, I think, and a little bit more focused. So I think there's a lot of things that hurt these guys. But I think in this ballpark, Great American Ballpark, Great American Small Ballpark, this park alone can give you some adrenaline to protect yourself and your team.
So Jansen will be facing Zach Cozart. Skip Schumacher in the on-deck circle, the former Dodger. And Ramon Santiago. Dodgers are 3 outs away from their 34th win of the year, and improving their road record to 21-12. 0-1 to Cozart, who's 1 for 3 tonight. Nothing and 2 at 94 miles an hour. Jansen hasn't pitched in a week. Last Monday against the White Sox. Three pitches, 1 out in the 9th.
No rust, no cobwebs on that batter. No more. This is one of those situations where sometimes I like to see Kenley use pitches that he wouldn't use in a save situation, just so he could save it for the rest of the series.
That's exactly right. Especially when you know you're facing a team for 4 games. You know, go over there, put something else in their mind, because when they're coming up to the plate as a hitter, you're going, I'm going to get the cutter, I'm going to get a fastball off Kenley. He's not going to throw anything else. But then all of a sudden you're like, oh, he's throwing a slider, or he's throwing something off speed.
You can do that with the security blanket of a 4-run lead as Schumacher Grounds to Figgins, 2 out.
That's exactly right, Charlie, because
you're almost setting them up for the next outing.
Exactly. When you are in that situation, let's say it is a 1-run lead and you have to come in and close that, you just put something else, just another thought in the batter's head, and you have the advantage.
So the Reds are down to their final out. And Ramon Santiago came in part of a double switch. Takes a strike. It's 0-1. Santiago is 1 for 2. Two balls and no strikes.
The other thing that'd be great is that was Kenley's 6th pitch to 4-game series, non-safe situation, 2 out. Let's attack right now and get the pitch count down, and you're really fresh for tomorrow.
On 2-0. 3-0.
I didn't hear you, Earl.
Well, he tried. He just pulled that one a little bit. Boy. Go 3-1 right here. 3-1 pitch, throw a strike, get a ground ball, and get this thing over with under 10 pitches.
2 out in the 9th, and the Dodgers lead at 6-2. There's a strike. For the Dodgers, this is their 65th game of the season, and for Jansen, his 29th appearance. Three and 2. Now the Dodgers are a strike away. Dodgers won 2 of 3 a couple of weeks ago against the Reds at Dodger Stadium. We're 0-3 against the Reds last year. But since the Great American Ballpark opened, the Dodgers are 22-16. That's no way to end the day for Ramon Santiago.
Taking one off the shin, fouling a ball off your leg. Facing a guy who throws mid-90s fastball.
Like you say, Nomar, if you want to know what this feels like, take a hammer and swing and hit yourself.
I want to know who's going at home. Like, really?
No.
Let me go.
I fouled him off my foot. I never fouled him off my shin. Oh.
3-2. Then your ball game is over, and the Dodgers have beaten the Cincinnati Reds tonight by a score of 6-2. For the Dodgers, 6 runs, 10 hits, no errors. They left 9 men on base. Cincinnati, 2 runs, 7 hits, 1 error. They left 7. What a night for Scott Van Slyke. In fact, a career night. Came to bat 5 times. Got on base all 5 times. He, of course, is the Lexus player of the game as he hit a 439-foot home run in the 2nd inning. He would walk in the 4th and hit another one, a 3-run shot in the 5th. So Van Slyke, career high 4 runs batted in, equaling a career high with 3 base hits and on base all 5 times. That's going to do it for us here at the Great American Ballpark. For Alana Rizzo, Omar Garcia-Parra, Oral Hershiser, Charlie Steiner saying good night and goodbye. We will see you again. First pitch about 10:04 tomorrow, Los Angeles time, from here in Cincinnati. Now it's time to head back to Access Sportsnet Dodgers.